Well, hello, family. First of all, I want to say we had so much fun recording this episode. We had so much fun sitting and chatting with Jeff and Katie. We are so excited for you all to hear this episode. We think you're going to love it. I'm sure you will because we had so much fun. But before we officially dive into it, I did want to take a moment because I'm sure a lot of you who follow Katie have seen that a few days ago, she had to say goodbye to her cat, Tommy. And if you know and love Katie, then you know and love Tommy because Katie and Tommy are the duo. They're the dynamic duo. We heard and got to know about Tommy all the way from her Bachelor and Bachelorette seasons into her bringing Tommy with her to film F-Boy Island. They're the duo, and Katie loved Tommy so much. And we actually, when we recorded this episode, we recorded it a few days before she lost Tommy. And we talk about Tommy in this episode because Tommy is part of who Katie is. And I think he always will be a part of who Katie is. And I think those of us who have a pet or have had pets know that really special type of love. And so I just want to take a moment before we dive into the episode to, number one, dedicate this episode to Tommy. And number two, if you have a moment, maybe send Katie some love via comments, DMs, send her some love, let her know you're thinking about her. We love you so much, Katie, so much. And we're going to miss Tommy a lot. But we know he's always going to be a part of who you are. And we love you, Katie. But this is a very special episode because I think this is the first time that Jeff and Katie have ever sat down together to do an interview. So we are very excited for you to get to know them better as a couple. I think you're going to absolutely fall in love with them as a couple. We sure have. So we love you, Katie, and let's get into it.
Your mom and dad. Your mom and dad. Your mom and dad. Your mom and dad.
Well, welcome home, family. It's your mom and dad. And guess what? One of your favorite aunts is currently in the building. You know her, you love her. It's Katie Thurston, which
Hello.
we are so excited about. But today, we have a very, very special guest. We have her partner, her lover.
Redo it.
Her lover, her best friend, her confidant.
I'm here to love her.
My lover. It's Jeff Arcuri.
Hello.
Yes?
You said it right.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I
Thank
did
you
my
for that.
research
You did.
beforehand.
I'm impressed, actually. I was like,
I know.
oh, shoot, we didn't talk about that.
Yeah,
Nice.
I was putting it together. I was like, okay, it's R and then Curie, like Marie Curie.
Thank you. I used to say
Wow.
Marie Curie, and then no one knew who that was. The
I don't know
mother
what
of
that
nuclear
is.
physicists.
I did
Shit. Now I'm
physicists.
stupid. Nuclear physics.
I did so much research about you beforehand.
Really?
So much.
That's scary.
research.
I feel like I might learn something new
we had
today.
a PI
Probably
look
will.
into you.
I keep a lot of secrets from you.
But so many of you know who Jeff is because Jeff is a comedian. I have true, you know what, this is how we wanted to start this because we know Jeff. We've been out with Jeff. We actually had a podcast, Miss Katie, what was it, like a month and a half ago where you revealed that you were seeing someone and you were like, I'm so into him. He's the one, da 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 da. And then
the reveal.
the people figured it out.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Bachelor Nation. We love you.
It was like a corner of your face,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
everyone put it together.
An ear.
My jaw.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah.
jaw because my tour poster has just the bottom half of my face.
Oh, got
So I
it.
put it next to it.
I
I'm
mean,
like,
that is wildly incredible.
I'm not surprised, to be honest, though.
But then you did the hard launch, and then we were like, we had the info first. So then people went back, listened to the episode with you, and they were like, oh, she is like head over heels about Jeff.
Yes.
So we know you very well, Katie. So I thought we should, before we dive into the two of you as a couple, I felt like we needed to get to know you
Sure.
a little bit better.
36,
Jeff.
Libra. Okay.
You're a Libra?
I sure am.
Same.
Are you?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I know. We're so good.
She's a Capricorn, so that works out.
It does work out. He's an Aquarius.
How do you know
He's
this
almost
stuff?
a Capricorn.
Yeah.
Oh.
So close enough.
But how do you know what? Like,
Cuspy.
you memorize what works out, or you just know that you two work out?
We work out because she's very organized and type A.
But I'm saying the fact that you know that you two work out, is that something, if I said I was this, would we work? You know
Are
what I'm
you
saying?
an
I don't know.
astrology
No, I
king?
do not.
Okay, you
No,
just
no,
knew.
no,
Okay,
no,
got
no,
it.
I know, like, every
He
now and
just
then,
knows.
I know, like, a snippet of it because
Got
someone
it.
told me something once.
Sure.
You know how that science works? Like,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
You're like,
hard
oh,
science.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's always funny to just be like, ugh, total Sagittarius.
Yeah, right. That's your excuse for all your behavior. I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm a huge astrology person over here.
Yeah,
so
so careful what you say.
So it is real.
I'm like,
I'm sorry.
watch out.
It's okay.
I mean, I was saying it is real. That's what I
I
was
have-
saying.
Like when I
18
said
power crystals at my
science,
house.
I meant it completely. A
Yeah.
true
Oh,
science.
it's science. Yeah.
But I thought we would ask you some true or false questions
Cool.
to get to know you.
Okay.
Are you down
Yeah.
to just hop right in with the
With
true or
Mr. Just
false?
like, no, I'd
Let's do
prefer
it.
not. Yeah.
I mean, that was, you never know. Okay. First true or false question. You are a wildly successful comedian. True.
Stop.
True.
No.
True.
I'm doing okay.
No, I'll talk for
I
him.
wanted to
'cause
see
he
you
won't.
blush. That's
I
why that was the
know.
first
I
one. I'm
don't
like,
know.
it puts you. I'm like, clip it. Make it the awkward clip. You're like, I am a wildly successful
No, not
comedian.
say that.
He goes, yes.
I think
am.
I'm happy with how I'm doing.
He's so humble. He sells out like big theaters. In fact, the next show that I'll be watching him in is in, I'll speak for him because he will never brag.
Yeah, sure,
But
sure.
in Toronto, it's like 3,100.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. Sold out already. Biggest
Wow.
show year to date.
Amazing. That is amazing.
So I have to go to Canada. I have to go watch
Tell him
that.
I'm doing two shows.
Oh, sorry. 2.
Oh,
Two
stop
theaters.
it. Stop.
Cut that.
Wait, what's the website where they can get the tickets?
JeffArcuri.com.
Good luck
Okay,
getting them though.
And then it's like, I think it's like, yeah, through Ticketmaster, I think, or something, which people are complaining about. But I don't know. I don't handle any of that stuff. I'm so
He's-
glad I don't
he's
have
too
to.
big, you know?
People do that.
You can't
yeah.
be doing all that.
No,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm bad at it. I'm not on it. You know.
He does,
So that's
he
where
does,
you
just
go
got
to
TNC
not get
pre-check.
tickets because they're sold out. So if anybody wants to know, that's where you don't get tickets.
I'm about to launch. We're about to announce 2025 tour though,
Oh,
which is going to be
exciting.
overseas though. So
are you hinting that right now?
sure.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
the skill
World
tour.
We're organizing
Tour.
a world tour. Yeah.
And will you be
Wow.
joining on some?
better be.
Absolutely.
You're like, I'll be doing Italy. I'll be doing Croatia. I'll be
Greece, all
doing
the fun ones.
Because I did when I did Europe last year, and I had a guy that came with me. His name is Barang. Sorry, my toothpick. I'm a toothpick guy. They're nicotine toothpicks.
Whoa.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Zippix. They should sponsor you.
Oh my
I
gosh,
tried because
I'm
I'm trying to
down.
wean off the vapes.
Oh, yeah.
So I got these, but now I'm just doing both.
But it's also like quite.
I got cigarettes, I got vape,
Yeah.
and I got the
I
toothpick.
did this because I was like, oh, it'd
Yeah.
be great to have on a plane, you know?
But now you're like
Right,
you're a
right.
toothpick guy.
Yeah, that's the thing is, like, I can't be a toothpick guy and a new tattoo guy. You know what I mean?
We're gonna talk about your tattoo.
What's up, kid? What are you doing?
You're like, I'm selling out. I got my
anyways.
toothpick. I got my tattoo.
Yeah, I did Europe last year, and it was really fun. But I had like a tour guy that was helping me through like a few of the dates through Berlin and a few other places.
Oh.
And he was great. But I think it'll be nice. I told her I'm like I can just straight up hire her to like make sure I'm where I need to be.
I'll just be emotional support girlfriend.
I love
But I
that.
also like I need a tour manager, and it's like why wouldn't she just do that? Like, hey, we're gonna do this, and then I wanted to potentially we're literally just started talking about it, but having somebody follow me on the road like a videographer for all the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then she'd be able to be like, hey, let's go bowling in Perth or whatever. You know, let's do rock climbing in Auckland, you know, or something like that. And then we can do that. And then she would organize like, hey, we have reservations for 9. I need you in the lobby at 8:30, like to whoever we're with.
Wait,
shit.
I love this.
that.
Okay, this
Jess
is another
would
one.
love that.
I'm like,
Yeah.
this is a dream. So this is another true or false question. You're very close to your family.
Yeah,
Okay.
very true.
And your family is integrated into the biz, right?
Your sister is your
Oh,
manager.
yeah, my sister is my assistant.
Oh, yeah.
My manager is a guy.
Sorry. He has
It's
so
different.
many people that
So
I
many people
am learning about.
But I was just thinking, I'm like, Katie, if she's videographer, you've got like the sister with assistant work. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
you keep it close with the
I
family.
do. I mean, my sister was already doing that for me. So
it's amazing.
it's kind of funny. Like, my sister and I were always very close. I have 2 sisters. I love them both so much and equally.
If you're listening, it's
Quick
not
little,
a game.
make sure that's on the record.
Yeah. But my other sister, I have Christine Nicole. Christy's the oldest sister, and she's was always helping me, like, whenever I would post something, I'm like, what do I call this video? Or like, is this funny? I would always send her, and she loved it. Her and my brother-in-law, I send them compilations of, like, I'm kind of like ADD right now. Let's say I do 4 shows in Tempe, Arizona or something. What I'll do is I'll go through all of the first show Friday, and I'll cut up every time there was an audience interaction, and I'll put that into one compilation of like 12 minutes or 18 minutes.
Okay.
And then I'll send her that, and she'll be like, the guy you talked to about Fruity Pebbles or cereal, that's so funny. That's a good clip. This one's a good clip.
Wow.
These 2 are outtakes. I started doing outtake compilations. So I send her the footage, and then she kind of tells me what I should do with it. And then I cut it up myself and do all that. And she was already doing that for free for a while. So for Christmas this year, I got her a laptop and was like, I'm going to pay you this much per week. Would you want to work for me? And she books all my flights, my hotels, organizes like, hey, here's the itineraries to my openers. If people hit me up like, hey, can I get comps? I'll just be like, hey, email my sister. Because like, I remember it was my first show in Michigan where my family was coming out. And my mom had like friends and family coming to the shows. And I was getting texts 5 minutes before showtime, like, hey, what's up with parking? Is it better here? And I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
And then I get 3 or 4 phone calls, 2 FaceTimes, and I'm like, I can't do this right now. I'm about to go on stage and perform for an hour. I can't do this.
Well, because
So
you
now
could before, right?
What?
Like you could before. Before you like got to a level, you could be the guy that was like, yo, your friend's coming to one of your shows
Yeah, and it's
10
fine.
years ago, and it's like, yeah, I know Jeff at the door, you can come in. So they're like, what do you mean you can't do it now?
Yeah.
You can't tell me where to
what I mean?
park?
It's like they don't realize that things change and
They
levels
don't
change.
realize
and-
they're one of 18 people who've texted me that
Exactly.
day.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
there's a
You
million-
used to be the
but-
only one.
Yeah.
20 years ago, they were just like, I'm the guy, So it's like
My agent jokes around. She goes, every client, I wake up to client messages every day. Like, hey, what about this? What about this? What about this? And she's like, you're the only one that I'll text and then have to text you again 2 days later because you never responded to my
Oh,
like.
literally
'Cause
this
I'm bad
morning.
at that.
Like this
His
resonates
sister.
with me as a Libra. As a Libra.
Oh,
She
yeah.
did- yeah.
His sister will, if she doesn't hear from him, will message me and be like, can you see if Jeff got this message? So it's happened at least twice now where I'm like, respond back to your sister.
Yeah.
So everyone's managing his life except him.
Perfect.
So he's
Oh,
just,
my sister, Katie, and my agent are the 3 women keeping me alive.
we're all Capricorns, I think, right? Kat too?
Is she?
I thought she was. Christy's definitely a
Wow.
Capricorn.
You're
so-
surrounded by Capricorns.
Yeah, no cap.
Strong Capricorn. Cap on
Yes,
the
yes,
sky.
Kat.
That's why I make the big bucks, baby.
He's professional. Joke maker.
Okay, family, let's take a quick pause before we officially dive more into this Jeff and Katie interview and have all the good times. Family, we want to talk with you about something that has been a recent discussion in our home as school is beginning, and that's smartphones. Evan and I have been talking about this recently because our daughter Ember is getting older, and a lot of her classmates have smartphones. And listen, personally for us, we are not comfortable with giving her a standard smartphone for many reasons, but we've struggled because she is getting older and participating in more activities, and we want her to be able to get a hold of us in case of an emergency and more. It was a pickle that we were in, so we were thrilled when we discovered Gab Mobile. Family, it was our answer. That's why we want to tell you about Gab's back to school sale.
Gab is the leader in safe smartphones and watches for kids, teens, and tweens with no social media apps, no internet browser, and GPS tracking. Gab devices were built from the ground up specifically for kids and teens and are the way to help keep your kids safely connected. Kids get unlimited talk and text with Gab Messenger, the first messaging and video calling app designed with kids' safety as the top priority. Gab Messenger blocks high-risk messages and content from ever reaching your child's phone. This app is exclusive to Gab phones and has a parent companion app for easy controls and to keep parents informed.
So other quote-unquote safe device options or parent controls let you know what's already been accessed, but Gab's phones and watches are built with smart filtration that proactively blocks harmful content before it ever reaches your kid. And Gab phones and watches are still tech kids actually want, like the Gab Music app for streaming clean music only, and hundreds of third-party apps that can be installed at parents' discretion. P.S. Gab actually just launched their latest phone, the Gab Phone 4 Pro, with more features than ever before. I love Gab so much because you, as the parent, can set it up for each kid personally. For us, Ember has a Gab watch and has access to call or text Evan, myself, and a few family members, and that's it. But it's all your choice. That's why I really think Gab is a must-have this year, and I cannot recommend enough that you and your family give them a try. We are so genuinely so grateful for
Yes.
Gab Mobile. It really, really helped solve the quandaries
Yes,
that we had. So thank you,
absolutely.
Gab Mobile. And by the way, do it now. Get on it now, because right now Gab is offering huge discounts on phones and watches to new customers. The best part, there's no contract required. Just go to gab.com/momdad to get started. That's Gab, GABB.com/momdad, gab.com/momdad. Terms and conditions apply. All right, let's get back into it. But I love that the family is so close, and I love that you might be getting involved in this.
Yeah.
It's so
Oh,
special.
they loved her.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I can show you a picture.
I'm like
Actually,
the
whatever.
family
But-
family meeting. A lot of people were asking about the mutual family meetings and how they went.
It was so good.
Yeah, she killed it. Like my nieces and my nephew loved her. Like instantly, were like, "Can we sit next to Katie?" They forgot about me. They were like,
They're like 8 and under.
"Yeah, 8, 6, and then 3,
And then the baby.
and then a baby." Yeah.
mouth.
Baby
But
age.
My
Months.
little buddy Vinny is my other Nicole's son, first son, and he was always attached to me, like, or just like he'll grab my hand and be like, "Come over here," and like I have to go with him everywhere.
Aw.
And he forgot about me and was like, "I just want, is that Katie?" And I remember one time there was one point they were all playing. She was playing with my nieces, and he was like, "Jeff," and he was pointing. He's like, "Her," and I'm like, "Oh, Katie." He goes, "Yeah," and then just goes, "Katie." Like he just wanted to know her name again. He
That's
forgot
so
it, and I'm
cute.
like,
So cute.
"Okay, that's all you need me
cute.
for."
I mean, I knew with her going in because our daughter immediately became absolutely attached to Katie and was
Yeah.
just like, "She's my Aunt Katie." And then, well, everyone, just so you know, the second that Jeff came into our home, it was the first time Ember was meeting him, and she was like, "I got a lot of questions for you."
Yeah.
She's saving it for dinner after the pod.
Okay,
so
great.
She made him pull out of a bowl a number of how many questions that she
12.
gets to ask him.
12.
It's 12. Yeah, it's
If
12
my friend's not
questions.
going to be single anymore,
Yes.
you better be good.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I
she
mean?
sent me a video of her being like, "I don't think I like him."
Yeah.
yeah, I forgot about
She
that.
likes Katie being
Listen,
single.
if you're taking her off the market, we better be cool.
She's like, "We're all
You gotta go
single
through the
over
This is
gauntlet.
the
here."
final test, Ember. Truly.
Ember.
Okay.
You met the family.
It's the
you
final.
met the friends.
It's the final gauntlet, and so far she liked
So
you.
far, so good.
So far, so good. Less is more, I think.
We'll see how
Yeah.
dinner goes.
Yeah.
But then you met your family, and
Yes.
everybody was asking about you meeting Aunt Lindsay, Jeff,
Oh.
because a lot of people saw Aunt Lindsay on Katie's Bachelorette season.
Oh, okay.
So I will say he's never watched the show.
Never. I've
So
never seen her on TV.
He doesn't
before.
even understand like these references of like, wait, why is Aunt Lindsay so famous? But you did great.
My sister knows all of it. She goes, "Did you meet her cat?" I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Her cat's famous too." And I'm like, "Okay, I don't know. I
That's
didn't. I
amazing.
never connected. I never."
Yeah.
But apparently, I was like working on my laptop, but at my sister's house. I stayed at my sister Nicole's house one night, and they were watching F Boy Island, and it was her episode, like an episode she was on. And apparently, I was watching it, like making fun of it, not knowing that she was the one on TV.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait, oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah, because I was just like, oh god. But then every now and then I'd be like, oh, he's not gonna get far. Like every now and then I'd
Sure. Of
jump
course.
in.
That's
but
the
then
classic thing. It's like you talk shit and then you're kind of like,
That's how he
but
got
that is
started.
interesting though,
Yeah.
you know. And then you're in, and it's like,
Then you're fully engaged.
Yeah.
So you never saw her season. Would you want him to watch it, or Katie, or are you like, no, I don't want him to see it?
We've talked about like having him watch it, but like also giving his like funny take on it.
Yeah, I was
You
gonna
know?
say
Ooh, that'd
the
be
people,
fun.
the
Yeah.
people would
watching your
love
season
that.
like from the beginning.
Yeah.
And just watching you make out with all those guys. I'm a cook.
Is that? I was like, is that fun?
I don't like it at all.
That's the hard part. I mean, you guys see like some of those like makeouts. I'm like,
Yeah.
sure, but also like we don't need to watch it.
Well, you've kissed another guy before?
since when?
Ooh.
I thought that we talked about that.
No. I saved myself for you.
What's worse?
Okay, but back to true or false. Back to true or
Oh my
false,
gosh,
because
yeah.
I have more questions about this. True or false? You've been doing comedy for over 10 years.
Yeah, like 14 to 15 years.
Damn. So when people when you've been popping off the last like year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
You're not like, oh wow, you just started. You're like, no, everybody, I've been doing this for a long time.
Right, which is like, even like Rife had an issue with that, where he's like, I'm doing comedy 10 years. I just started very young. So
Yes.
people assume because he's like 27 or something like that because of all his success, it's just like, oh, it's just your jawline. It's like, no, the guy was hustling.
Yeah.
And I was doing a lot. I was working the road. I told her at one point I drove like 32 hours straight for a gig, like by myself. Like I was doing colleges. I was doing clubs for $500 for a full weekend of shows. And that would be like all of my money was there and back, and I still loved every second of it.
Mm-hmm.
I did cruise ships for a couple of years, all that stuff. I did everything you could do in comedy. I've done corporates, I've done rehab centers, I've done colleges, I've done all that stuff, and you need to go through all that in order to appreciate what you can get. You know.
And you recently hopped on social media.
Yeah, it was August 2022.
Isn't that
That's
insane?
so wild.
I didn't have a TikTok, didn't have a Facebook, didn't have.
Instagram.
I had an Instagram.
Oh.
But it was like my personal. I think I had like 7,000 followers. Like I
Okay.
was like,
Oh, you had a lot of friends.
it was just
You
people from
okay,
show.
hug brag.
I had,
He's
like,
got
7,000 personal
actual
friends.
Yeah.
I know like 10 people.
I had like a couple times people had like recorded me and then tagged me in something,
Sure.
and then it like it popped off a little bit, like at Laugh Factory or whatever in
Okay.
Chicago. But that was it, and I didn't really do. I would never post. I'd post maybe once every other month. I'd post a picture of like me like at a
like
bar
Jess.
like that. I was bad.
It seems like the Libra energy. It's,
Yes.
Yeah.
it's a real science, Jeff. Okay,
Okay, it
I'm gonna
is.
make
Yeah,
you
yeah.
leave
So far,
believing
so good.
that
So
we
far, so good.
That's
are
the thing is,
simpatico.
this is probably a bad take, but
Oh, we love bad takes on a pod.
Yeah,
like
please.
there are like hornier star signs.
Oh, what? Who? Why do you know that? Which ones?
According
I
to
thought
like
you
some
also
Googling that he
saved
did.
yourself. Where
No,
are we
never
going
mind.
with this?
Let's
No,
skip-
let's
no, no,
wait,
no, no,
where's
no.
this going?
I don't want to do
What is
that.
that? No, where is that going?
I just think it's gross that it's like
I have no idea what the next
I
sentence
don't know
is.
if I should even say this because it is a thought, but it's just it's a funny thought to me is that like there are hornier star signs. There are star signs that like you know.
Sure.
And imagine
100%.
like if I were to have like a kid like a little boy and then he was born in a certain month and I'm like, oh, he's gonna be a little slut. You know, isn't that weird?
Right.
Something to
Right.
think
Kind
about.
of weird.
Who's the
to be
horniest
like,
star sign?
I don't want to talk about it.
But you have an
I would
answer.
prefer not to talk about it.
You have
'cause
an
I don't-
answer.
No, I don't. Let's just. What's the next one?
Next question. True or false? You were shy as a kid.
Super shy. I was really quiet because I used to stutter.
You
Okay,
did? I
really?
don't even think I knew that.
Yeah, I used to have a bit about it actually too. I used to repeat the first word of every sentence a lot.
Okay.
And it was because I had my family's very loud. Like it's my two sisters, my mom, and my dad and I are quiet, and so it's mainly my sisters and my mom will just everyone talks at the same time, and it was very like a loud household for that reason. We had dogs. It was very like talky, and so I didn't get a word in edgewise ever.
Interesting.
And so I was just learned to be like choose my moments and be funny. Like whenever I got to talk, I had to be funny. Otherwise, people would look at me and be like, "Why did you even speak just now?" And I would stutter a lot in the beginning.
trauma.
Oh my gosh,
And we went
Katie.
to like a person, to like a speech therapist to talk about it. And this is a bit, but it is true. And I went with her for like 15 minutes out of an hour session. And she's like, he doesn't have a speech problem. He just keeps repeating the first word until somebody listens to him. And then he finishes the sentence. So I'd be like, Ken. And they're like, look, I'm stuttering. And the whole time I'm like, let me finish the sentence. So I remember they're like,
Leave it to a family to be like he has a stutter because they won't let you speak.
Yeah.
I mean that is truly.
Yeah. And then like he doesn't need speech therapy. He needs like therapy.
Damn.
Yeah,
He needs
but we couldn't
space.
afford it. So I.
Nice.
Wait, were you shy in school too?
Yeah, I was a quiet kid.
Okay.
I was quiet. I was not stupid, but I was like, I remember I also didn't wear glasses. I was supposed to wear glasses. She knows I wear contacts. And I was supposed to wear glasses, but I got made fun of like once.
Oh,
so
no.
I would wear them to go to the bus, then I'd take them off and just be blind throughout the day. And I'd sit in the back because that's where my friends sat. And I was just like bombing in school. I was just doing poorly in school. I was getting no laughs. I was like doing poorly in school because the teacher would be like, "What is your answer to this question?" And it was just a fuzz. And I'd be like, 7? And I'm like, this is English class, you know? Like, I would do like, and then I'd put him back on and I got home. My mom was like, I don't know why he's doing so bad in school. And then finally there was like a parent teacher thing, and they're like, "Are you supposed to wear glasses?" And like they met. I'm like, the jig is up.
That's great.
So when did you start to come out of your shell? Because I will say, we all one night went to dinner and drinks, and what I noted immediately, first of all, we were all having a great time, and you're a great conversationalist, but one of the things I noted right away is there were a couple people at the bar, and I'm like, you can chop it up with anybody.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, thanks.
You were like having a great conversation with just all
the
these
tiki bar.
random people.
Yeah.
And I was like,
you get a little bit of whiskey in me, and I'm like, I want to know everything about everybody. Yeah.
well, but I'm like, okay, so you don't seem shy anymore. At
No,
least.
I'm not.
When did that shift?
I honestly, it was when I started selling cell phones when I was like 20 years old. I worked with this guy, and I'll shout him out right now. He does real estate in Michigan now. His name's Mark Catula. Still comes to my shows whenever I perform. Amazing dude. He was like
If you're
29
looking for a house in
Michigan.
Michigan,
Go to
yeah.
Adobe Real Estate. Mark Catula is his name. Okay. And he was like a big bro to me. He was 29. I was like 19 or 20.
Okay.
And I was super shy and quiet. And it was just me and him in this little tiny plaza shotgun style store of cell phone store. It was called All Star Wireless. It was back when like texting phones were becoming a thing. You know, like people were upgrading from flip to texting.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of money in that. Like, you know, selling the accessories and repairing the phones and all that. And I got a job with him, and it was just me and him every day, 7 days a week, open to close. And we just hung out. But he would force me to talk to, like, hey, go talk to that guy and try and sell him. And I was so nervous, but I remember just, like, being able to turn it on after, like, a week or two. And then he taught me everything I knew about, like being an affable person. I do think it's affected my comedy. I don't think I would be who I am without having worked with him for years.
That's so interesting. I will say sales in any form, I'm like, it does get your chops up. I know when I was in retail, I'm like, I think that was the most social. Like I was the quickest on my feet because I was working off of commission. I was like, okay, I got to get real good at talking to everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, because you just learn to ask questions.
I don't have the gift.
You learn how to ask questions without it becoming a yes or no answer. And that's where a lot of my crowd work comes from, is asking questions that lead to more questions as opposed to, you know, oh, anyone have a dog? Really? Yeah. Oh, do you like it?
right.
You want to ask,
right.
what's the craziest thing about that dog, or whatever it is. So when I'd sell things, I'd ask them questions about their life that would keep them talking. If somebody talks enough, they feel comfortable around you.
Yeah.
If they start opening up. And so I just did that a lot. And that's actually how I started comedy. I sold a cell phone to a comedian, and I asked him how to do it.
Really?
Yeah.
And then what?
Wow.
And you just like did you just start going up to like or going
I
out to
asked
open
him,
mics?
I was like, how do I do that? And he's like, you can take a class. My friend Bill runs this class in Detroit. And so I signed up for the class. I started going on Saturdays. Every Saturday I'd go to this thing and write. They teach you like the basics of comedy. It was more or less just like a launching pad of like meeting the other people to learn where the open mics were, and then going there and trying it. And remember the first day of class, he goes, I know you guys don't have anything prepared, but I want you all to write a joke. Like write something that you can think is funny.
Okay.
And you're going to perform it today. So I'm going to give you 10 minutes to write something funny and then perform it.
That's so scary.
And I remember what I
no.
wrote about. I remember I wrote 2 jokes.
I'm so excited.
God. You're so upset?
Excited.
Oh, okay.
Why would I be upset?
I'm so upset.
Stupid idiot.
So embarrassing.
No, let's hear it.
The first one was about, oh God, this is stupid.
I love it. We love it.
The first one was about, when we moved into our house in Michigan, because we grew up in New York, but we moved to Michigan, we got a house that had an intercom system throughout the house.
Yeah, I know.
And it was
I know
an impression
exactly.
of my dad yelling to my mom, and my mom yelling to my dad to use the intercom, and my dad yelling about how he couldn't figure out how to work it. And it was like the screaming of it was like the impression of them yelling, which there was nowhere, it didn't go anywhere, but it was like my dad talk, hey, which one's the button to talk? And then I'd hear him like talk, whatever. The second one was how I was like really happy with this. I was like, oh, this is creative, but it bombed every time. Was how growing up Italian household, like my dad being Italian,
Yeah.
you learned to speak in only vowels. Like, hey, oh, you.
Right,
Yeah. And then sometimes you'd be like,
that's-
why?
That's good.
Wait, but that was your
for
first-
your first
That was my
joke.
first
that
show,
feels
like, my
really
first
good.
one that I was like, I'd open up like with that.
I'm like, if I'm the teacher, I'm like, okay, prolific. I'm like,
Yeah.
because the
Could you imagine?
the intercom bit is like that makes like that's hilarious.
It's
to me.
silly.
But the idea of like we're gonna do a bit about the fact that there's an intercom in the house and that's funny.
I feel like
I'd be
being
like, wow,
Thanks.
legendary.
entry-level comedian teacher might be one of the most torturous jobs of all time.
Oh my
because
gosh.
you're an aspiring comedian who is subjected to the worst comedy all day long.
Yeah.
Right? We're talking about people who are like, you know what? I just want to get out of my shell and try this thing, and they're just the worst jokes all day long. That must be a mental torture.
Yeah, I think there's
Sure,
something
obviously
also,
became someone, but like think about all the people that took that class over and over and over. Like,
You were like
degrading.
shining star.
Oh my
It's
God.
like, oh, thank God.
It's funny enough is 3 weeks into the class, so third session, it was like the day after I got a call, like Sunday. He goes, the guy's Bill Bouchard. He's a very funny comedian out of Detroit. He's who ran the class. He goes, hey man, I have this competition coming up. It's like a comedy competition on Tuesday. We had somebody drop out. He's like, if you want, would you want to throw out 7 minutes material if you want to jump on it? And I didn't win, but I remember
3 weeks in, though. Wow.
felt so good. I was like, I went to a coffee. I went to Starbucks on Hall Road in Michigan, and I stayed there for like 4 hours, and I wrote about Mario Lopez. I was writing like
just everything.
I was like writing about Dancing with the Star. I was writing about all these things, and I just kept writing and writing, and it felt, I was like excited, like, oh, I can try this out. But I didn't do any open mics. So the first time I did all of that material was at this show. Didn't do great. I still got laughs though. I got laughs because I was just like trying my hardest. And I remember I didn't even come close to winning, but I got done. And I got off stage, and I ran up to my mom. The first thing I thought was like, this is what I want to do.
Wow.
And I remember my mom, and she denies this, but I remember my mom goes, "Oh, honey," like that. She's like, "Oh,
this
honey."
is not a good idea.
And she to this day goes, "No, I walked up to you right after, and I go, this is your calling." I go, "Mom, you did not say that." But she to this day says, "I always said that you could do this." And
From
I'm like,
day one.
"No,
No,
you
you
didn't.
didn't.
You wanted me to be secure. You wanted me to work in finance." But she did very quickly shift into like supporting me.
Okay, fam, gotta take another quick pause here. So, family, let me tell you a story of a woman who, after recording this podcast, downloaded multiple knock-knock joke apps because her daughter Ember and comedian friend Jeff had a knock-knock joke off at dinner. Okay, and then a few days later, she realized that she would be paying monthly for these apps and wanted to end the subscription immediately. It is me. I am the woman. The woman is me, okay? I am the woman who also once again was saved by Rocket Money, who makes me aware of these subscriptions, finds them, and cancels them for me. Thank you, Rocket Money. You never stop saving me time and money again and again. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so that you can grow your savings.
We are very grateful for Rocket Money in this house, and everyone who uses Rocket Money is, because over 74% of people have subscriptions they've forgotten about. And most Americans think they spend about $62 per month on subscriptions. But get this, a real number is closer to $300.
crazy.
So Rocket Money to the rescue. With Rocket Money, I have full control over my subscriptions and a clear view of all my expenses. I can see all my subscriptions in one place. And if I see something I don't want, Rocket Money can help me cancel it in just a few taps. And I love how the dashboard shows me this month's spending compared to last month's, which is really nice. So I can see clearly my spending habits. Plus, they'll help me create a custom budget and keep my spending right on track.
And get this, Rocket Money will even try to negotiate lower bills for you by up to 20%. All you have to do is submit a picture of your bill, and Rocket Money takes care of the rest. They deal with the customer service for you. I think this feature is unbelievable. I love Rocket Money. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's features. I am one of those people, okay? Rocket Money is just a no-brainer. You just got to get into it. I promise you. It's the air I breathe. I live by Rocket Money, okay? Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/momdad. That's rocketmoney.com/momdad. rocketmoney.com/momdad. All right, let's get back to it.
My dad kind of jabbed me a little bit for a couple years.
Sure.
Like, hey,
but
funny
she was
man.
always very.
Yeah.
No, more like, I remember when I moved to Chicago from Michigan, just to like further my career a little bit,
Yeah.
a couple of years into comedy, and my dad took me canoeing. He's like, let's go, bond canoeing. So we're canoeing, and he goes, it was the weekend before I featured at this club, and I did well. And that was like the second time he ever saw me. Was like, the first time was early on, and the last time was 2.5 years later at this comedy club, and I did well in front of him. And he goes, I'm proud of you, man. Like, you're doing this, and you're following your dream, and you're good, And I was like, that means so much. Thank you. He goes, remember the first time I saw you, I was like, this poor kid. Yeah. He doesn't know. He doesn't know how bad he. I go, you could have ended the story. You could have ended this conversation. I'm so happy. Why did you need to be like? There was a while I was worried.
The fact he didn't say anything though, that's good. You know what I mean? He could have been like, by the way, you're bad at this, and then it could have crushed your confidence. The fact that he held that in,
that's called
that's
parenting.
That's good.
That's a parenting note right there. Okay.
Because
sometimes Ember will do like a dance or something, and I'm thinking to myself, it's not great. She's looking at me going, isn't that the best dance you've ever seen? And I'm going, I love you. I love you.
My sister did that. My one niece, who's 8, is an amazing little dancer. She loves hip hop dance, like doing the whole, all this. Yeah. And my other niece is 6, and she's tall, like growing into her legs. Seeing her run, it's like noodles. It's so funny.
Baby giraffe.
But I remember we were like hanging out, and they wanted to do a dance number, and they both came in, like we all just sit down and watch. And my one niece comes in, and she's going like this, and then my other niece comes in, and she's literally doing the hokey like this. And I look at my sister, who's her mother, and I just go, so probably volleyball or something.
What are we gonna encourage towards?
Yeah. Some tall guy sports.
Okay. True or false? You are let me be careful how I say this. You are a secret pianist.
I'm not very good.
I think you're great.
Thanks.
Is that kind of like the dancing thing, or is that actually?
No, he serenaded me a few times.
Oh, you sang?
Yeah.
Wait, how soon into dating was a serenade? How soon into dating was a serenade?
I think he did it once over the phone.
Remember that? That was funny.
I think I was a little drunk.
Yeah, we both had been drinking that night, and we were FaceTiming still. I don't think we were even hanging out in person.
Yeah, I don't think we had met yet, which I know sounds weird, but the first month of our dating was online, I guess.
We were on FaceTime, and I was like, what'd be funny? Because I was home already playing piano. I was just like playing. I'm not good. But I know like 4 or 5 songs that I can play, and I was like playing, and she FaceTimed me, so I put her there, and I'm talking to her for a second, and then I'm like, ooh, what'd be cute? Is if I'm like, she doesn't know that I kind of play piano.
Which is everybody's dream, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
The dream is to like have no idea what you play, and then be like, oh, what's this little thing? And then just start ripping, right? So that's the ultimate.
Romantic novel energy.
That's the ultimate.
So I put the thing there, and I'm talking to her, and then as we're talking, I just start playing. And then she's like looking at me, and she like continues on. She goes, "What are you doing? Can you like pay attention or whatever it was?" And I go, "Oh yeah, for sure." And then it wasn't until the next day, because of the sound isolation on the eye, she didn't know I was playing piano. She just saw me going like this. Like that, and she's like, "What are you doing right now?" And I was playing piano, and you hated it. And she goes, "You literally never played piano for me." I go, "I promised you I did. I was sitting right here." She's like, "You're gaslighting me right now. You never played piano." And I go, "Watch, look." And she goes, "I'm not hearing anything." I go, "Exactly. It's something with the sound. Turn the isolation on." We worked the sound out, and then I started playing, and then
that's
not very good, but it was.
It's like having a guitar and but you're not doing anything with it. You're like.
That's she just starts cool. Like, "What are you doing right now?" I was like, "Nothing. I'm
doing my taxes."
She's like, "Jeff, why do you keep winking at me?"
Why do you keep saying, "Do you like that?"
That's a fun hobby, though. That's a fun secret skill.
It's a great secret skill.
A friend of mine, Sam Evans is his name. Like I saw he played piano, and then he had always said it's nice to have something else besides comedy and writing, to like just like be able to like do something artistic and fun, so I can just learn and I can just like kind of riff.
So you learned later in life?
Yeah, pandemic. I started.
That's cool.
YouTube. I just started learning.
That's very cool.
Yeah, there's an English woman that teaches piano over YouTube, and I just loved her voice. She's not like.
It's okay. I'm secure.
And it was like, and then A sharp goes down to B, and I'm like, okay, and I just like you can learn a song. So I didn't want to learn like a Sam Smith song or something. She'd teach you the song front to back in a 15-minute YouTube video, and I would just rewatch it until I got it, and then I'd memorize it. I can't read music, but I
Did you sing to Katie as well?
What's the next question?
Yes, he did.
That's right. That's what I thought I heard.
Yes.
In New
York.
We'll be cutting in a clip of him singing.
Jeff singing now.
Right there.
No.
We'll look it up.
No.
Just roll
Take
it.
another sip of that drink.
We heard it, I guess so. Why am I doing the Little Mermaid song? That's the last second to it.
That's what you worked on all COVID. It's just Disney songs.
It's all Disney.
I don't hate it.
I was gonna say.
You have like the steel drum sound and everything. Oh, that's funny.
Okay, true or false, Jeff? You got a rose tattoo for Katie.
No, it's false. Well, first of all, I just got so much shit for it.
Okay,
and
yeah, let's
you
talk
also
about
don't even
this.
like
Oh, good.
roses for that reason. And
Oh, I'm
I can't-
triggered. I know.
I can't believe I got it.
Okay, so
support it.
explain what went down for the people who aren't aware listening.
I got a rose tattoo. I was in Florida, and it was like a Sunday afternoon. Excuse me. The night before, I had met somebody at a show. They gave me a card. I didn't meet him that night, but I got a card from somebody like, "Hey, this guy wants to do a free tattoo for you." I went to his Instagram. It was all dope shit. It was all really cool.
Yeah.
I get there, and I'm like, I've always wanted something on my forearm. I've always wanted to get more tattoos. He was like, I love doing roses. I've always loved doing roses. And he showed me his designs, and I was like, these look cool. I like the way he did it. And he's like, let me try this. And it was like, initially, well, this is the one we went with. I don't like it.
What?
You don't?
Well, he's.
Stop.
I was having a meltdown, dude. It took
Especially
the
for a
first 2
first
days.
one. A first one is so
No, you have-
scary.
no,
I have
you
this
have-
one right
he's got-
here.
he's
you
got
got
a
that one,
couple.
okay.
And I have like a Simpsons tattoo up here. And
Did you see it?
I mean, I saw a glimpse of it for a second.
It says-
Oh, epic.
moth. 'cause
Moth.
That's the
Yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
a
yeah.
Bart Simpson,
Yes,
yeah.
I love that.
And so I was like,
tattoo.
somebody did this one for free. This one was done for free at the Comedy Cellar. And then I was like, I want to get more. I've always wanted to have like a bunch on my arms. I got it done. I felt great about it with the stencil. I felt great about it with the color. And then it was like over a period of like 3 days where I'd be like, what the fuck have I done? It's so big.
I think he was depressed. Truly.
Just
I
because of
truly
the
was. I was
size?
not
Oh,
sleeping
no.
very well. I was not talking to her as much. I was like, I just need to be alone right
you
now.
needed
Okay.
time. Wait, I think it looks great.
That's what I
Thanks.
said.
No, I appreciate it.
It's
I'm
a
like,
traditional
It's
style
cool.
too, which
It
is like
is.
timeless. It's
And I'm
like not
getting-
going to be weird.
I got this one like 2 days later.
Great.
Because I was like, I think
need
it'll
to
help to
kinda-
not be such a blank,
Yeah,
blam. And so if I get one, I'm gonna get one here.
Yeah,
I'm
you
gonna
fill
get
it
one
in.
A little
here,
bit.
and just do my whole arm,
Yeah.
and just do a bunch of tiny ones. I want to go sillier, maybe. I don't know what I want to do yet, but I decided that. It was funny. My friend Jordan Jensen, she's a very funny comedian.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
But I
Follow
sent her
her,
a text
guys.
of
She's
like
great.
this one, and then I was gonna get the lucky cards over here.
Okay.
And she's like, Jeff, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm fixing it with more. And she's like, I tried to do that too. Slow the F down.
Yeah.
Don't do this. Like, don't do all this. And I was like, I need to get at least one more over here on the
Yeah.
outside. So when I go like this, someone's like, not like, what the fuck?
Oh my gosh, it's so funny.
Wait, is that a
Great.
rose?
Yeah. I've gotten a lot of shit for it because
Really?
somebody posted
No,
like
I
she
think
posted
it's in his head.
she posted a screen like shared it.
AMA? Was it the AMA?
Oh,
no,
no, yeah.
You took my story and put it on
Oh.
your story and said the final rose goes to
Oh,
or
yeah,
something
yeah.
like that.
I
and so
played it
the
too.
internet picked it up and was like, oh,
They took it seriously.
They
that.
thought Jeff got a rose
Right, of
for
course.
Katie as her final
Oh,
rose.
Which
Everyone
is
at the
kind of
Comedy Cellar-
understandable, right? Like if you were from the outside,
Yeah, you'd be
and then
like,
you saw
oh.
that story, you're definitely
Maybe this
like,
is my bad. I
Yeah, there's a
started a
little bit of a
rumor.
setup there. A little
I
bit of a
showed
setup there.
3 people at the Comedy Cellar. The next day I come back, and the next 2 days I come back, I have everyone come up to me like, where's the tattoo you got for your girlfriend? I'm like, it's not for her. I love her so much, but it's not for her, it's for me.
Yeah, people
wanna
are
make-
like, you guys haven't been dating that long. I'm like, it's actually not for me.
I'm gonna get
That's
you
amazing.
make you get a piano tattoo. on
Yeah. Little Mermaid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Little Mermaid. Okay, but you and I, we do have a similarity because I also got a rose tattoo. So I started recapping The Bachelor, Bachelorette maybe 5 years ago. And like 2 years into recapping, I got a rose tattoo on my neck. I like a rose. I think they're great tattoos.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of people have rose
Yes.
tattoos. It's like it's a cool
Yes.
tattoo. I get a rose tattoo on my neck. I post it on Instagram, and my DMs are flooded with like, "Whoa, girl, Batch Nation recapper!" Like, and
Big
I
fan, eh?
love the
Didn't even
show.
realize.
And when I was getting tattooed, not for one moment did I think about The Bachelor. I wasn't
No.
thinking about it at all.
I think when I was like, oh, that's kind of funny. I was like in my head, oh, that's kind of funny, but no one's gonna connect that, right?
Right.
It's all everyone's talking about. Everyone keeps coming up to me like, "Where's that tattoo, man? Let me see that tattoo for your girl. Like, you got your bastard." And then, God, one of the managers is a friend of mine. We both started there at the same time. When I got past the comics, she got a manager, and she would come over to me and like be like, no, for real, it is like a really good tattoo. Like it's really awesome.
It's really
and I'm just
sweet.
really glad you did it for her. And I was like, stop. She would make me feel good, and then just be like a little jab, a little
Set it
knife.
up.
You know?
Yes, amazing.
I truly like it's still now when I think about it, sometimes there was a season where I was so self-conscious of it because it was like on my neck too, so then on the podcast it'd be like hitting my neck, and all I could think about was like, oh my god, everybody thinks I take my work so seriously, where it's like I recap The Bachelor, so I got a neck tattoo
Live
of
your
The Bachelor.
lifestyle,
I'm
yeah.
like, no, I'm like, if I was gonna do a Bachelor tattoo, I would just get Katie's portrait on my body.
There you
Holding
go.
a
That's
dildo.
coming next. Like,
Chest
that's
piece.
next for you.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm okay with it now. I'm getting used to it, but it
think
was
it looks
scary
good.
for a while.
I was like a
I
week.
spiraled. Yeah, shoot. Yeah, it
Were
was
you
bad.
looking into like removal?
He
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah.
That's how fast he
I
spiraled.
know. I've had friends who have done that, who have just gotten like kind of went a little bigger than they were expecting. Kind of, maybe the artist talked him into something they weren't quite ready for, and then they're just like, and then
Yeah.
they warm up to it. But it's that initial shock of like, what have I done?
Oh, I
Yeah.
was like, maybe if I chop my arm off, like one arm is better than this.
that is a cool vibe,
Right?
especially piano.
Oh, I was freaking out. I called. There was like a core group. It was obviously her because she was talking me down a ledge like every night. She goes, I'll be honest with you, it was kind of freaking me out about your commitment issues. It's just a tattoo. And then I was like, listen, this is different. A tattoo's forever.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But when you're going into the comedy cellars and such every night and getting ribbed, I'd
Yeah.
probably.
Oh, it was a lot of that.
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine see it. He's like, that's sick. I like it. And I'm like, thank you so much. But the worst is when someone goes, oh, what is that, new tattoo? And I go, yeah. And they go, interesting. And I'm like,
That's crazy though. That's
wild.
crazy.
But
That's a
that's the
wild
thing is,
response.
it is forever. My mom called me. It was like, why would you do that? Like,
Sure.
she didn't call me. She texted me. And then I just
She's a
didn't-
little more traditional.
Sure,
She
every
doesn't
mom
like
does
me
that.
getting tattoos. Yeah. But she's like, why would you do that for Katie? I'm like, I didn't do it for Katie.
I didn't mean to start
So
a
funny.
worldwide
I didn't even
rumor.
think about it. I honestly,
Listen.
I just, when he mentioned rose, I'm like, I think it's red, which I like the color red.
Yeah.
On a body, I think it looks cool, and it's also not overly manly. Like, I don't think I could pull off like a snake.
This
without
don't look at mine.
Those are cool.
Mine are tattoos.
He is literally
I have
a Miller Lite
yeah,
tattoo.
my
cool.
tattoos are just like the lowest of the low quality.
Yeah, but
wise.
I wanted to initially do that. I wanted to get a bunch of small ones. I always
it.
wanted that on my arm.
Got it.
And when I was looking at this, I go, it's too big. You even said it's kind of big.
Before
And
he
then-
got it.
And then
Before you
you
got
said
it.
your mom was like, that's actually perfect size. And then
Who
someone
has
else
tattoos?
was like, look how
Yeah.
it looks when you're like this. It looks cool like this. But then what I didn't think about was looking at clips of myself when I'm like, anyways, and it's just like, like it's so big. But that's
Right.
just, it's also
you're
it's
in your
me.
head.
Yeah,
No
you're
one's
in your
looking
head.
at your forearm when you're telling it.
That's
You know
what
what I
I
mean?
said.
Like
Nobody's
no
looking at
one's
your
going
forearm.
there.
He's like, every time I talk to people, they're looking down on it. I go,
Maybe
no,
your friends
they're
are because
not.
they've heard, you know what I mean? They've heard you a million times. But anyone who's like walking in the crowd is not going, what's on his forearm? Is that a
No.
tattoo?
If I own
What
it,
is it? I mean,
No.
like, dude, it's like.
If I own it, I think it's better
Yeah.
than me being like I made a joke about
Also,
that too.
it's
I didn't-
not. I mean, it's a rose. It's a traditional rose. It's not like some bizarro tattoo that says something. I mean, it's like a very nice, well done traditional tattoo. Like, it's nothing like crazy, offensive. Like,
No.
it's
No.
literally like no one's gonna go. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, you're right. At least I
no
didn't
one
get-
is looking at tattoo going, "What's going on with that thing?" I
Yeah.
mean,
No.
it's a
And
traditional tattoo.
I am like not like I'm not like a tough guy, but I've always wanted tattoos, so it's in the vein. I got a bird, a rose. The dagger's the only thing that's a little bit off, but it's going through a heart. You know what I mean? And
He's so pure. He's such a golden retriever.
True golden
I'm a
retriever.
human being. But yeah, I'm not too worried about it.
Sure.
I think I'm getting used to it, and I
I think it looks great.
once I get more, it'll
It looks
fade
great,
into
Jeff.
the.
It looks
Thank
great.
you so much.
It looks
We
great.
wouldn't say it otherwise.
Yeah.
That means more than you guys know.
We wouldn't
no,
say it
it looks
otherwise.
They have tattoos.
Yeah, wouldn't say it otherwise.
Yeah.
You know.
Remember when I was like, is Ember maybe not gonna like me because I have too many?
No, and I go, do you remember what her parents look like?
I was like, what if she sees me like, who's this biker?
Biker.
Who's this outlaw?
What if this guy just kill a guy?
1971. Oh, that's amazing.
Okay. True or false? And then we're getting into.
Yeah, I feel like I'm
Yeah,
taking
yeah.
up too
No,
much
no.
time.
This is.
We'll cut most of this out.
This is a true or false that's now migrating into you two.
Oh.
Okay, true or false? You slid into Katie's DMs.
I did.
Yeah.
You were
Technically.
you were
Yeah.
the first.
Yeah, I said, what it do, baby girl? And
what that thing do?
No. Technically your first DM wasn't even like well, maybe it was an attempt.
I saw that she had been like doing comedy, but I knew it was like fledgling, and you had like a. I hope I don't take offense to that, but like,
ouch.
I knew
I knew it sucked, so I thought I could offer some help.
I knew that it was not like. I think I knew that you were like newer to comedy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I didn't want it to be like almost like predatory in the sense of like, hey, dude, want to write together?
Sure.
I knew. I was like, also, you
That's
have
a
your
line.
own following, and I didn't know why.
He thought I was a makeup
Like an influencer,
vlogger
makeup
girl.
influencer.
Oh, love
Yeah, because
that.
I think when he followed me, which I will say I followed him first, but he slid into my
okay,
DMs.
you were the first follow. You slid
Yeah.
into the DMs.
And I saw
first.
like, you know, it pops up like people like of status or whatever.
Sure,
like,
sure,
it'll be like, this
status.
person followed you. I'm like,
Like,
who's
la la.
this? And I was like, she's so beautiful. I remember showing your profile to like, I was at an improv actually. I was on the road and I showed your profile to like, I was like, isn't she just like so cute, dude? But
it's funny, when I followed him, it wasn't even in a romantic interest. I was shifting away from following like reality TV stuff. And as I was pursuing comedy, I was like, I want to follow comedians that I really enjoy.
Ingest the stuff.
Yeah, so I feel like I had followed him at the end of like 2023, not thinking anything beyond that. You know,
Right.
like I was just like, oh, he's another funny, successful comic. I want that kind of feed, you know,
Yes.
when I go on social media.
But then what was the first message?
I pull it up probably.
I remember it. So I commented something, I don't even know. He was like responding to my story, and then he said something about like,
I said, if you're ever in New York.
yeah, come check
let
out
me
the
know.
New York scene, or if you ever.
I said, yeah, you ever make your way to New York? And you said, New York scares me.
Yeah, like it was very light, like almost to the point where it didn't even come off like direct, like, oh, he's hitting on me. I just thought, oh, he's like, again, being like friendly comic, kind of like networking, and maybe I'm a little naive.
Yeah, because that's what guys do. We always reach out to just random people, and we go. Oh, you know what? I know. For me, what I do is I reach out to pretty girls online, and I just say, hey, if you ever need like support, and I just go whatever you need. You know what I
Just
mean? Like
look.
zero any issue, and I just say, hey, really appreciate the way you look, and if you ever need help. So I totally get where he's coming from. On that. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
I'm just trying to help out some new comics.
Yeah, he's just really a helpful
No,
guy.
but I did throw it out there in the sense of like, there is a way for you to hit this ball back to me and
Right.
change the vibe.
Yeah.
Where I could
yeah,
say,
yeah, yeah.
hey, if you're ever in New York, you should like maybe. I didn't even say that we should hang out. Like,
No,
do
it
you
was-
ever
it
come
was
to New York?
so light.
And then let's just say she did come
Sure.
to New York. She goes, oh, I'm going to be there in September or whatever it may be, and I'm doing the stand or I'm doing whatever show. I'd be like, oh, cool. Hopefully we run into each other. Let's say we meet up because we have a show that same night and we like hang out. And she's like, oh, I have a boyfriend. I wouldn't be like, the fuck out of here.
Right,
you know,
right,
I'd be
right,
like, oh, okay, cool. I'm glad I didn't overstep.
Sure.
With like, if you want to come to New York, you can stay at my place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you did.
Yeah.
We had sex. That's what
I don't know. I guess, yeah, we're adults. So I don't know. I came out with a vibrator on TV, and I'm like, you're telling me we fucked?
I didn't
That's
say
amazing.
F word.
Sorry.
I didn't say F.
Make love.
I actually
Made
had
love.
a text message from the group chat. So me and Katie and our other friend Katie, who you're about to meet in a couple days.
I can't wait for you to
Which
meet
I
her.
cannot wait because you two. Yeah,
It'll be fun.
It'll be fun. But group chat. This was March 22nd. So you guys had not started.
Not started talking at
No.
all.
She sent a. She
I
sent.
didn't do this.
I think I told you.
Instagram post of you to the group chat, and she says, "Future husband."
No.
That's the photo.
Holy shit.
That's the photo.
That's the cover
That's
of that photo.
actually that's a great like invite or
That's
something.
wedding.
You know what I mean?
That's wedding announcement.
that's the invite right there.
All right, family, time to take another quick pause. So this show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Question for you, fam. What are your self-care non-negotiables? Maybe you never miss that run or that face mask. For me, it's 17 baths and therapy. But when you are human and your schedule is packed with like kids' activities, big work projects, school, and more, it's easy to let your priorities slip. Even when we know what makes us happy, it's hard to make time for it. But when you feel like you have no time for yourself, non-negotiables like therapy are more important than ever. Therapy has changed my life, and it is that non-negotiable for me. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try.
You know, your mom and dad have wildly benefited from therapy. It's helped us being a mom and dad, our partnerships, learning boundaries, processing trauma, so much more. It's recently helped me a lot processing times of loneliness, discovering the why, and providing me with tools to grow. I'm forever grateful for therapy. And again, like Jess said, when you feel like you don't have a time for yourself, that's the time you got to prioritize you. BetterHelp is entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule so you can make time for you.
All you have to do is just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Never skip therapy day with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/momdad today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/momdad, betterhelp.com/momdad. All right, back to Jeff and Katie.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. She sent it to us, and she said future husband. And then the next day, she was
Wow.
over at our house, and I was like, oh my God, he's hilarious. And we started talking about you, and then she started showing you a bunch of his clips.
Yes.
We're like, oh my God, he's hilarious. And we had a long conversation about you.
That's cool.
And she was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I don't know. There's something about him. He gives me like future husband energy. Like, I don't know. I think I'm going to like marry him.
That's kind of
Yeah.
crazy when you think about the fact that you randomly saw a follow enough for you to kind of like make mention to someone else, right? It's a random follow. You have a bunch of followers, like someone with a check mark follows you. For you to kind of stop, log it,
Be like, she's
and
cute.
then not even just think it, but then to say it, and then at the same time you're going, oh, this comedian guy, and then thinking in your head, wow, something, and then it like that's actually bizarre.
Yeah, I really wouldn't have thought that anything would come of that, except like I remember thinking like we can get a drink, but I wasn't. At no point was I thinking of like I'd like to hook up with this pretty girl. I was like I'd like to go on a date with her. You know what I mean?
See, for me, it was almost maybe the opposite. Not like hook up, but like I was
Just a piece of meat.
No.
What am I to you?
I'm just a dick with legs.
But like I was in the dating scene in LA,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
you know, you heard my stories. It was pretty generic.
Yep.
He had mentioned grabbing a drink, but I knew he lived in New York, so I'm like, okay, like I was almost like, I'll say yes to say yes. You know, like
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but get those reps in. Get those reps of like going on those dates and just like doing it because I should. I'm
Yeah.
single, why not? You know? And so never did I think like we'd be like where we are. I actually get like emotional.
Oh my God.
She does.
I always get emotional talking about him.
You get emotional talking about most things. I remember when we were visiting my family, just to like collect yourself.
Yeah.
And like she went to the
Let me
bedroom
just
to
drink more
like
alcohol.
change or move her bags around or whatever it was, like when we first got there, and she was like tearing up. I'm like, oh my God, what's wrong? Like, what did my family say to you? And she's like, I just love family time. And I started crying.
So sweet.
Yeah, she's the sweetest girl in the world.
I know, she really is.
Yeah, that's why I got a
She's-
rose tattoo for her.
Thanks, babe.
You know what? Fuck the internet. Yeah, it's for her. Fuck you. I'll just own it. All right. I'll get Katie on my forehead. Yeah. Or just say not for Katie.
Okay, wait, but then everyone wants to know about how the first date came about because you've teased it a little bit.
Yes.
So how did the first date start? You guys start? Do you start tech? Or you start DMing? What?
Yeah.
How does this go
I feel
down?
like I kind of made the move a little bit. Like he had the invite, like when I'm in LA, let's grab a drink, and I was like, cool, yeah, whenever that is, let me know.
And that was the end of it.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
we never talked in the DMs. Like it was very just like surface level. Because again, he's in New York. Like what? He's a comic, which was also like another thing. Like whatever, you know.
Which we have questions about.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure. But then I see on actually Mark Hayes' story,
Yeah.
a comedy show coming up in the lineup, and his freaking photo is on it. So I reach out to him and I'm like, oh, you're in LA? Like, I thought you were going to tell me, you know?
Yeah.
And so we made plans, again, very surface level, like, yeah, let's grab a drink, whatever. Well, then, like, I don't, hear from him. He doesn't follow through. We don't have a date, a time, whatever. And I'm like, okay, like, what the hell? Well, then I see that same show, his face is removed from the lineup. So I message Mark, actually, and I'm like, what happened? He's like, oh, here's in the hospital. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Which is funny because I was so pissed that this man essentially was like ghosting me. And then I'm like, oh, my bad. He's
No, I
like,
remember when I got the text and you're like, I think this guy just ghosted me. And I was like, wait, what? Really? I'm like, no, there's no way, right?
yeah.
And then I get the text, Mark said he's in the hospital. I'm like, wait, what?
Did I not
Still not an
DM you or
excuse.
say like just got to LA?
I think I knew you were in town. Yeah. Like
Yeah, I think I thought I DM'd you like, hey, just landed or landing in LA right now.
Yeah.
And I went to the hospital like an hour later.
Yeah, I knew nothing about any injuries or hospital until so then I reached out again being like, hey, heard you're in the hospital, like, hope you're okay. I guess it'll have to be virtual drinks for now. And then he was like, oh, I'm so sorry, like, it's been crazy, da 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 da. Well, then I knew, all right, he's stuck in the hospital bed. He has nothing to do but text me. So let's just like pre-screen this man right now.
Yes.
Because you can learn a lot with like texting banter. And Evan, we've talked about it before. I'm a huge...
Yeah, I love you, but
I'm a huge communicator, texter. But
No, it was great though. We started talking like in the hospital room.
Yeah.
nonstop to the point where like I just kept my phone open and
Yeah.
would watch the bubbles and just wait for his text
Wow.
like response.
Yeah, sure.
Like I wasn't like trying to play it cool or be like, ooh, don't text back too fast. I was like live texting this man back and forth for hours that night. And I think that night we even made a joke. I said we'll have to rock paper scissors on where we move to once we fall in love.
Yeah.
And talking about like New
I
York
texted my
versus
sister
LA.
that night that I fell for a girl.
She thought it was a
Already.
nurse.
Really?
She was like, "Is he
Yeah.
okay?
He's
How
on
are you?"
ketamine and he's falling in love with his nurse.
She's like, "How are you falling in love with someone you're in the hospital
She's
right now?"
so caring, and she just takes care of all my needs.
It was probably a better first date than if we would have had a first date because I have ADD and I was able to go back and remember the things that she said that I could be like, wait, shit, you have siblings or something?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
So I was able to go back and be like, how's Carly?
yeah.
You know, like I was able to go back and look at the conversation we already had just because we were talking so much that if we had done it in person, I may have looked a little more. I am that way. You know that. You accept me for that now.
Yeah.
But I am a bit aloof mentally.
Yeah. But yeah, so we never got to have our date in LA. So for the entire month, all we were doing is texting. And then I remember we had a FaceTime, and I was like, oh shit, like, you know, FaceTimes they can be awkward when it's someone you're like just getting to
100%.
know.
Oh yeah.
You know, I remember our first FaceTime.
I remember. Yeah.
Wait, were you shirtless? Is that why you're saying that?
You were.
Oh,
Not the first one. Not the first one.
I remember
Jess
the first
knows.
FaceTime.
I don't think it was the first FaceTime. Was it the first time you showed me your boobies?
No, I don't know. Whatever.
I remember. Wait, no, I don't think that was the first FaceTime, but I think you FaceTimed him.
I was at Stagecoach.
Yes, we were together, and you went. We weren't together, but you were in your own room. No.
Coach. Well, Stagecoach.
Okay, never mind.
Yes. Stagecoach.
Yep.
We'll get there. Whatever. Stagecoach. Yeah, I drunk videoed him.
Oh, got it.
And like basically strip teased and was like, I feel like I'm married to you. Oh, here's my booby. You know, like
You
I
put
was
on
just.
an accent too, just because
Well,
stage
yeah,
go.
it's just
You're
my
like,
drunk
"Let me
girl
tell you
impersonation."
something."
But yeah, at this point, we still hadn't met in person. Here I am being like, here's my naked body. I feel like I'm married. Like, I was just like, there was no filter, you know? I think I was actually the first one to say I love you over the phone while drunk. No regrets. But like, it just like, it
just felt natural.
Spilled. It just happened, you know?
It felt safe.
I
think
remember
that's
the
interesting thing.
conversation is like right after you started talking to him, he right away, like, we got together and you were like, I've never felt more safe with somebody. You were just over the moon.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd never seen you like that before. And I was like, oh, because normally when you'd be like dating certain people, there'd be like, I like the person, but I'm concerned about this and this, and I don't know how I feel about this and this.
There's always red flags.
There's always
something.
There's
In the
always
beginning.
something, and you always would catch it, and you'd be like, I don't know, but maybe I'm not being, whatever. And I remember with you, every day we'd catch up, and I'd be like, any red flags? And she'd be like, no, I'm
None.
great. And I was like, oh,
Still none.
Yeah, I think that
interesting.
a lot of it, like a lot of my issues on my end of a relationship, if I was the one that I was not good enough for that person, it was because I didn't care about them. So I didn't put in the effort
Got it,
that
yes.
I was.
Yeah.
I didn't really listen because I didn't really care.
Yeah.
You know, with her, I'm like actually interested in what she has to say. That sounds awful.
No, but it's like anything. It's
not
like-
like,
it's like if
not
you-
like a
if you
sexist
love
way.
so-
Like
if you-
I don't care
yeah.
what women. It's
No.
more like I date a girl and I'm like, I don't like. I just didn't really care to text them. I didn't like get excited when my phone lit up with their name. I was more like, oh shit, I probably didn't respond to their text an hour ago, and now they're pissed at me.
Right.
But with her,
He
I was
dated
like,
some mean girls.
yeah.
I've had like, as a comic, if the girl like that's my agent was like, stop meeting girls from shows that like hit you up because it's just not. They're seeing you in that form, and that's
Sure.
not who you are. And
Interesting.
Which oddly enough, that's kind of how you saw me. But social media is a little bit different.
But also, I do think that, like, the thing is, what he's trying to say is, I think a lot of people watch comedians and think this, like, cool, popular quarterback type vibe, you know, whatever.
Thanks.
And yeah, well,
Sometimes they're
wait for
spot
it.
on though.
wait for the next
The team
sentence.
needs me. Yeah.
But Jeff is very like quirky, silly, goofy, which is 1,000% my type. But you know, some of these people think like, oh, he's gonna be this kind of way, and then they find out he's like a silly guy, and then they're like, you know,
A goose, if you will.
Bit of a goose.
but I love it.
Oh,
Like
yeah, I
that's-
was dancing around your apartment today.
You don't even want
Listening to old punk songs, just like singing them along.
Yeah.
And then you're like, you're so cute. And I'm like, there's no relationship I've ever had that would be the words to follow me being
Aw.
like, do that. In my underwear sliding around our apartment
No,
and her
straight up.
being
He's not
happy
even
about it.
lying.
No, that's exactly what I was doing today.
Yeah. Yep.
But I love that you accept me for who I am. And I told my family and my sisters that this is the first time that I feel like I am genuinely myself and not trying to be what I think she wants me to be. You know?
Interesting.
Where I do feel like I was like trying to be cooler or like whatever. Like I'm 100% myself with you.
And I think that's why we work so well is like we accept everything that we are. We've talked very openly about like anxious attachment styles.
People were asking what your attachment styles
definitely.
were.
I don't know what they are, but that one
So
sounds like
it's
me.
it's what is it? Anxious, secure, and avoidant.
No,
Okay.
definitely like anxious attachment, but
Yeah.
but we've worked so well in our like open communication on like insecurities and stuff that I'd say if anything we're more like secure attachment now.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we really have like so much just like trust and calm and peace and security in our relationship. Like never once do we have like a like, oh, why didn't he call me back? Or like, oh, who's he talking to? Like it's just we just know we're gonna be together.
Yeah, and I remember there was one moment where I remember I called her right after we had already hung up, and I was like, that goodbye felt weird. And you were like awesome about it. Because I am that way where I'm like,
Yeah,
I'll be in my head
sure.
about the smallest little thing. I'm like, that goodbye felt weird. And then we'll talk on the phone for like 6 minutes and then like hang up. I'm like, this one's good. This one feels good.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Like
Wow.
she makes me feel okay about that.
That
Yeah.
makes me so
I was
happy.
always in relationships that were like, is this normal? Like talking to other people. And like, I remember there was a relationship, I was in a very short relationship before I met you, and it ended in like beginning of January. It was very short lived, but I remember talking to my friend Matt, like one of my best friends, and he was like, the fact that you're talking to me about this and not her is a sign that maybe you guys don't have the best like relationship going, where
Yeah,
you're like scared to
interesting.
bring this up to her.
Yeah,
You know,
not
That's
about
the
how
really
she's
interesting.
being weird and distant or whatever it may be. And with her, I've never felt like I feel like I can call her at any point in the day and be like, I feel weird about what you said or whatever, and we would just talk it out ad nauseum until it's hammered into the ground. And then that's how I handle things. If I'm weird about something, I want to talk about it all the time, so much that I'm sick of talking about it. Like my tattoo, every day. There was a while I feel like she was going to leave me.
No, it's not though. That's
Well, you
the
met
thing.
your match.
Yes.
I think that's what's interesting.
Yes,
is like
1,000%.
when I think about you
I
over
love
the
it.
couple years, I think about you being like, like if I'm being judgmental almost. I remember thinking like, because I'm putting it through my filter of like, that's a lot of text. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I think that you're kind of like asking for a lot when it comes to the openness here. You know, even when I'm just thinking about like small here
Right.
and there, and then the fact that you're saying, I feel like I was too. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
that's kind of like that's when you really found your person.
Yeah.
When you feel like you can, like you said, be yourself all the way
100%.
instead of like trying to kind of edit it, change it, fix it, make it work for what you think they want to be. Like that's the hardest thing to find.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we talk a lot. My screen
That's
time
beautiful. I mean, that's
was
what you
really
want.
high, which I thought
We talk
initially.
so much.
My screen time was so high, I thought it was social media. I was like, what am I doing? And then it breaks it down for you. So it said like
Texting,
phone
9
was high
hours.
and texting, which then I thought of Jess because of course I sent her like 10-minute voice memos back and forth.
We voice memo
so
a
that
lot, so.
you know adds it up. But yeah, and it's great because we're long distance, so we have to like he's in New York, so we have to have
Yeah.
really good communication and get very creative with like how we show love and affection and validate each other. You know, so
That's beautiful.
Still
So
working.
a lot of people were asking, you know, so it's long distance. Any plans to move?
Well, look at his
I'm like,
face.
are you gonna
He's
take
so-
away my best friend and you move to New York?
He's so happy. We've talked about like what it would be like to be like bi-coastal, you know, and how we would want to do things, you know. But if I'm speaking like in where we're at right now, I think I would end up moving to New York next year.
Yeah.
It just makes the most sense, you know.
I'll be taking a lot of trips. Evan.
Yeah, I'll have a spot
Prepare
for you.
yourself.
Get some
We'll be
points.
turning the studio into the spare bedroom when I come to visit.
Got it.
But it makes the most sense.
Sure.
His career is comedy. As much as I am like wanting to pursue that, that's just like a passion project of one of many things I'm pursuing. But he's over here doing the Comedy Cellar like 4 or 5 times a night. Like that's his home base. I love him enough that I would never want to like take that away from him.
A lot of people were asking about the comedy as well. So one thing was, people had remembered that you said you weren't going to date a comic. So they were wondering
Whoops.
what changed.
Well, here's the thing I always think about with other comics. It's kind of like coworkers. Here I am, self-employed, work at home, live at home. Like, occasionally we go out, but other than that, like I'm kind of a homebody. So the people that I'm interacting the most are going to be in the same industry, whether that be reality TV, and heaven forbid, I don't want to date another like reality TV guy.
What the hell? Heaven forbid. How about you forbid it?
I don't care.
But if God stops me, I won't do it.
That's like me being like, and by the way, no more blondes.
I've never broken down that expression, and I will never say it again. But it's like reality TV people, and then like comics, and then you can get into like other forms of entertainment. But that's who gets the like career or lifestyle that I'm in the most, And like I said, even with him, it was kind of even an accident. Like I had followed him, but not with even the intent of like, I want to date this guy. It just so happened like months after following him, I was like, oh, he's so endearing. Like you see his clips online and he's so just like charming and sweet and cute. And then of course we ended up talking. And so yeah. It's kind of like the same thing. Like you shouldn't date a coworker, but like sometimes like you just like it's who you're around.
You can't help it. Yeah.
Okay, so here's my
also,
personal
there's
take
a
on it.
different, not to be shady. I love all comedians, but I think sometimes when we would talk about that too, there was a specific genre of person you were talking about as well, where it's like, hey, we're not going there. Not you are, the second we met you, we're like, oh, you're a different type of person.
Thanks.
You're a very like kind, like loving, loyal. It just kind of screams off of you. The first time we all went to dinner, you walked away, you left your cell phone on the table to go to the bathroom, and I looked at Evan and Katie and I go, that's a huge green flag. I'm like, I would never just leave my cell phone. I don't have anything weird on there, but like to me, someone leaves their cell phone, walks away, I'm like, oh wow.
Super
Cool.
present.
That is just present. Also just like, I don't know, it's
Getting
a good
points for things I'm not even putting thoughts into.
Yeah,
That's great.
but that's why it's a green flag, because you weren't thinking about it.
Yeah.
You're just like, all right,
Yeah.
Okay, fam, gotta take one more quick pause before getting into the rest of this. A fantastic chat with Katie and Jeff. Family, talking with Jeff and Katie and hearing that my girl might become a New York girly is making me want to move to New York, okay? I mean, I kind of have always wanted to. So, Evan, this is our excuse. I mean, Broadway, Ember would be in heaven,
Yeah,
right?
true.
Come on now,
Let's
come
do
on
it.
now. But anywho, something I love about New York is all the walking. I've become a big walker. I am a walk pad woman for now. Maybe it'll be the New York street soon. I don't know. But whether I'm walking on my walk pad or in New York, I need my feet comfy, because I was starting to notice that my feet were aching, but not anymore, because I got a pair of the Vionic Walk Max sneakers. Yes, introducing the Vionic Walk Max sneaker for him and her, for everyone. Family, I don't know how to describe this other than I felt the science the moment I put these shoes on my feet. Never in my life have I ever put on a pair of sneakers and immediately felt the difference. My feet were in love, and they're so cute too. I have the cream tango tangerine color. I wear them constantly. I wear them everywhere, because now my feet want nothing else. Now they just want the Vionic shoes.
Yeah, I have a pair of the Vionic Walk Max sneakers, and they really are amazing. The perfect shoe for the all-day wear, staying active, or everyday go-to. This is science-led design informed by biomechanics to create the ultimate walking shoe. Vionic's exclusive VioMotion technology is what sets them apart. This exclusive podiatrist design technology features unmatched underfoot contours, providing stability and support through every stride. They began by revolutionizing medical orthotics. Today, they continue to use that science to engineer shoes that leave you feeling energized and confident all day.
The comfort is truly unparalleled. I could not recommend them more. In fact, after getting the Walk Max sneaker, I loved it so much that I got a pair of their Uptown loafers for fancier times, and they're amazing. I love them so much. These shoes, they're really incredible. They also have their Chardonnay heeled sandal, classic sneaker, and Willa slip-on flat. My feet are so happy, and they even offer a 30-day guarantee. Wear them, love them, or return them for a full refund within 30 days. But I think you're gonna love them, okay? Use code MOMDAD at checkout for 15% off your entire order at www.vionicshoes.com when you log into your account. One-time use only. That's code MOMDAD at www.vionicshoes.com. Vionic Shoes, wearable well-being for your feet. And my goodness, my feet have never been happier. Okay, let's get into it. Yeah, sorry, I interrupted you though.
No. I was just gonna say, like, I personally think working in the like the music side of things, I see a lot of my single friends like warring with this thing of like, I want to date someone who gets it, but most people who get it aren't the best people because they're self-obsessed.
Yeah.
So it's like this weird mix of like, I want to date someone who gets touring, gets shows, I get a call last minute, I got to cancel all my plans to go do this thing. But you got to cancel our vacation like tomorrow because I have this gig. It's like most people don't get that.
Right.
But then a lot of times the back end of that is like two people who are completely self-obsessed that like will not sacrifice for each other, will not love each other. So it's like this weird mixture of like, you should date in the industry because then you get each other.
Right.
But then the people who are in the same industry aren't selfless people at all. So
Yeah.
if you can find a person in your world that is selfless, that's like the hardest thing, but it's also the best thing possible to find.
Yeah.
And so the fact that you guys have found it, I think is like, that's the magic, is like a selfless, kind two people that understand the lifestyle. Like that's insane. That's the hardest thing to find.
Yeah. This is going pretty good between you and I.
I'd say so, yeah.
Pretty good. People were wondering, Katie, they were like, are you going to continue comedy? Because, you know, you haven't been like doing shows like you were before.
It's actually so weird. I reflect on this a lot because part of me is like, was comedy my pathway to Jeff? You know,
Yeah,
like
sure.
because coincidentally, beginning of the year, January through March, I was doing shows. I went to Washington, Oklahoma, Massachusetts. It was like boom, boom, boom. Like, I moved to LA, you know, for the scene, you know, and then it was April that we started talking. May we had our first in-person date, and then I just kind of like paused. I just like took a beat, you know, and I was at the time working on a TV show like over the past year, and we're trying to like sell it, you know, and some people might know like, you know, getting a podcast going, different projects, you know?
Yeah.
And so, and then now that I'm like dating him, part of, I don't know if it's like an insecurity thing, but it's a little different when you see him perform. And I'm like, maybe that's your pathway, you know? And comedy it's a very long road, you know, like ahead to actually make it work out. And for me, I don't have enough, love for it to make it my primary focus. You know, people often think like, oh, do you want to be a comedian? It's like, I would love to be some kind of hybrid, you know? I really admire Hannah Berner and kind of like what she does.
Yeah.
She's comedian, podcast, interviewer. She just does everything, you know? And so I'm still trying to find that one thing that I'm like most passionate about. Comedy's just like a piece of the pie that I'm kind of still like figuring out as I go. In fact, he's actually never even seen me perform.
I was going to ask, you've never seen it. She's very funny.
Yeah, I asked her to go up. She said no.
Yeah, he's.
Oh, wait, okay, so hold up.
Love that.
Oh, hold up. Okay, so you asked her to go up before you for a show?
Yeah, just like do a quick spot.
And
like,
you
wanna do
said
5?
no.
Yeah,
Would you
well-
do it? I'm like,
in the Oxnard, I asked you to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I was like, do you want us to do 5 minutes? She's like, no.
Which
I'm
is-
like, all right, I'm not gonna push you.
which is so sweet.
so nice, yeah.
For me, we were new, and we still are, but it doesn't feel like that. But you know, I didn't want him or anyone else to feel like I was only dating him because of my own agenda. A lot of
Yeah, I get
people
that.
who don't know me well or know like my intentions might think like, oh, she's an aspiring comic. Of course, she's gonna date him and quote
right.
use him, try to get whatever. And
We
so
all know that's what's going on. And that's fine. It's not a big
Yeah,
deal.
sweet
I mean,
little innocent me.
Yeah.
Being used.
but yeah, so when he offered, one, I was just like, no, like I don't want to like mix business and pleasure necessarily. Although here we were talking about, oh, she'll be my on the road manager now. But you know, it was just kind of like I just want to focus on him and I. Also, there's a little bit of a like, oh, you know me as like girlfriend Katie. You've never seen me like perform as like raunchy stage Katie. Well, all
Disgusting.
No,
His catchphrases.
But the thing
Not my pussy.
but the truth is,
1980s.
I've been working on like stuff for like 2 years. You know, I'm newer, so a lot of my stuff is you know the kind of the lower hanging fruit of like dating, sex, being single, and so now I don't necessarily have the skill set the way he does to be able to like morph that into like today's like jokes, you know, with like what's really happening. So if I was to do like my like let's say 10 minutes, it's all like, oh, single, this, and I went on this date, you know, and like for me, I'm like, that's not even who I am anymore, you know. And so it was like, okay, well, I gotta like work on writing new stuff. And anyway, the short answer is like it's on pause.
Yeah.
But comedy was never like the main pie. It was just like a piece of that pie.
But you are so very naturally funny. You make me laugh more than anybody.
I do love making him
makes me
laugh.
People were
so
asking
much.
who
That'd
do
be
you guys
great
make each other
graphic.
laugh a lot?
all the time.
Yeah.
It's pretty consistent.
It's so great. And we have the same like sense of humor. Like we'll laugh at like really dumb stuff that most people would be like, ugh.
Oh yeah. Oh god. Like the we are thing.
Oh,
It sucks. But it's funny to us. But it's probably gross looking out. Is there's a thing that happens like looking at Inside Out is there's a thing that happens where I'll say like, you know, you're perfect, and she's like, she'll say like you're perfect. I'm like, you kidding me? You're perfect. And then she'll say no, we are. And there was one time
That's already
where
gross.
I said it, but it sounded like a donkey. So now it's,
We are.
yeah.
So now she's like,
guys
"Oh,
are
you're so funny." I'm like,
disgusting,
"You're
dude.
funny," and then we'll look and be like, "We are."
Oh, you guys are gross, dude.
Yeah,
That's
see?
beautiful.
I knew the
That's
second we started.
beautiful.
And so now,
a
if you
beautiful
were ever sending
disgusting.
texts, and it'll be like, "Oh, you're so funny," and then I'll send it. There's like a donkey emoji.
Yeah.
And it's like, "We are." Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
and there's times where we'll like say the same thing at the same time, like just like your very cheesy stuff that makes people like want to throw up, but like it works. For
Do you guys
us.
feel like you have a
Of
lot in
course.
common?
I don't know if we have things in common. I mean, some.
1, 2, 3. No.
Oh,
Oh, okay. You didn't know what you were gonna
I
say.
just didn't know where this game was going.
We do in a lot of like, yeah, I guess like where it counts.
Our personalities, the way we think,
Yeah.
the way we navigate, I think that is similar.
Yeah.
But like our like experiences can be somewhat different, and that's fun to like learn about each other and talk about that.
I feel pretty passionately about like having the right things in common and then
Yeah,
different
yeah.
things that are like,
Yeah.
and
Like
certain things
having
that are different.
independence.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, okay, we, like you were saying, we think similarly in these certain ways. So then communication is easier,
Yeah.
vulnerability is easier. But then when there are different interests and different passions or different things that you just, you know, you move differently, then it keeps the relationship exciting and you learn from each
Type
other.
A, type B a little bit too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, okay. Yeah.
I daydream a lot, and I'll just like, well, sometimes be like staring, and then she'll have been talking for a minute, and I'll be like, oh fuck, what? What did you say this whole time? And I don't, but I also never. I've always had that as a kid, and I never wanted to suppress that because that's how I come up with a lot of my jokes. Is like my brain will just like
Yeah,
start
yeah, yeah.
thinking, and like I'll like be like sitting there, and I'll be like, my friends have made fun of me where I'm like sitting in the green room, and I'll be like.
Yeah, your astral
Yeah, I'll
projection.
just, like,
You just did a joke.
start-
You
yeah,
just
like,
did.
I
You were
just
performing it. Yeah.
Performed a bit in my head, and I'm like, that's. And they're like, what? And they're like, you just like had a conversation with yourself in your head. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, but I love that. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
And she deals with it.
Yeah. I recognize it. I'm like, oh, he's in his head right now. I'll just pause his story and
See how
wait
long
for
it
him.
takes?
Well, I'll just wait for him to finish, and then I'll be like, are you able to focus on this
Yeah.
sentence I'm about to say?
Yeah.
But I never get mad. Like I
Yeah,
just, like
yeah,
I said,
yeah.
we just accept everything. Like I don't like I can't. I'm sure there's like something that someone would be like, that's a red flag. Whatever.
Sure.
Not that, but something. But like I love him so much that I just like. All the things that he would be insecure about, I love. All the things that might annoy someone else, I love. Like I just
Yeah.
accept
It's really great.
him.
There's a lot to be annoyed by with me.
No, it works out.
Do you all, when it comes to comedy, I know obviously, like you said, you're on a pause, but Jeff, with your stand-up and then with your future, if you do continue stand-up comedy, are there now like boundaries set up about what you can talk about on stage with your personal relationship?
Well, if there is, it'll be the first I'm hearing about it.
This is good. We're
I've said
talking
some
about
shit
this.
on stage.
Well, you have asked permission from time to time. Like there's this bit, and I'm excited for you guys to hear it. I won't go into detail because you got to come see it at the shows. But where my Furbo, my cat camera, catches some. activities.
Okay, we got
Yes.
numerous questions because you brought up the Furbo
Yes.
on our episode.
Yes.
We didn't know it hadn't been revealed that it was you, Jeff, and so a bunch of people were like, "Is Jeff the Furbo guy?"
Awkward. No, it's not.
Yeah, but I'm a bit that's been expanding about that.
Yeah.
And just like having sex with her and stuff. It's like how I open my sets now.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I guess to answer your question, we're pretty open, but
Yeah.
there has been times where he'll ask.
But not like that.
Not like open
Or
relationship.
touch her.
We are very open.
Yeah. We're exclusive, but we're open on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, like I understand like the art of comedy is like talking about your life, you know? And there's been so many new things that have like been inspired for his stage presence, his jokes, his set, based on like our now relationship. And so it's actually really fun to see it like pan out. And I'm like, you guys are coming to the show
I can't wait.
later this week, and you'll see.
Yeah, it's literally like the first like probably 8 or 9 minutes of my set is talking about that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
I think that's just so cool though, because like we were just saying, when you have that thing where you both have in common comedy, I feel like you're then able to have a partner who you are understanding, like, oh hey, yeah, you're gonna use this because it's part of life.
Yeah.
Versus, you know, if you're dating someone who's not in comedy, they might take it personally or get weirded out or whatever. We're like, no, I can. We get it. We see each other.
And I think he's pretty good about knowing, like, it goes without saying. It's like, as long as you're not, like, talking shit about me on stage.
Sure.
it's-
No, I'm
it's
not doing
very-
like hey, my fucking girlfriend. I'm not doing that. It's
Yeah.
more
Sure.
like
Yeah, it's your life.
He's complimenting
Yeah.
me usually, like, we're in a healthy relationship.
Sure.
We have great sex. We're happy. You know, like, it's like, yeah, please tell everybody. I will support that. You know?
But that's also what I love about you is that you're also very like candid with that. Like, and you'll always talk about like things that will make other people insecure. You're like, whatever. If you talk about it, it loses the power if it's your control. If you're the one bringing it up. So she's brought about things that other people would be insecure about, and then I brought it up on stage. You know,
Yeah.
and it's funny.
Yeah.
People love when you like me talking about my rose tattoo on stage now has given me the power back of like, yeah, it's stupid. What are you gonna say about it? Well, I think it's stupid too. Okay, I already said that.
Right.
No.
It's not stupid though, right?
No,
You
it's
guys?
good.
Well, it's very cool.
We love it. We
It's
love
the
it.
coolest tattoo I've ever seen.
We
to be
love
honest with
it.
you.
Best tattoo.
Yeah, too much.
Sorry, yeah, it's pretty good.
Just say it's rad, dude. Do one of
It's
those.
mellow. It's mellow.
No, but Katie is amazing at that. She's always been very inspirational for me personally in that way too, Jeff, where I'm like, oh, she always is like, yeah, you take the power and you're like, no, this
Yeah.
is me, and you own it. And I'm like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
Okay. And she's in control in that way. She's a really amazing woman.
Yeah.
And I'm just
Thanks,
very happy
guys.
that you found an amazing man. Makes me
Me
very
too.
Who
happy.
the fuck? Oh, me.
You guys are open, right? Yeah.
All right, so we've been definitely throughout this been throwing in some of the audience's questions throughout. We've been
Yep.
interweaving them, but can I throw a few more audience questions your way?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Let's
Okay.
do it. Come sit on my lap.
The whiskey is
Do
hitting.
it live.
It's not the kind of pod.
I'm like, well, it can become that type of podcast. Like, we'll put it behind a paywall, guys. So, what are your love languages?
Ooh,
Both of
that's
you.
fun.
Words of affirmation.
Words of affirmation for you.
Yeah. Yours not?
Physical touch.
Oh, well, that's like every guy.
You
Blowjobs.
is sucking and fucking on there?
Is it on there? I like that. Can you check it?
But I think it is physical touch is probably what makes me like melt the most. Is like randomly if she like will just like start touching the back of my neck,
Yeah.
and I'll be like, she likes me. She really likes me. You know. But the words of affirmation you like, which is like great, because she'll be talking and I'll be looking at her. I'll just be like, "You're so beautiful." I'm not listening right now. I think I'm just looking at you.
That's okay.
Can you chill?
I'm like, I know.
By the way, because you're making me look like shit right now. I'll be honest with you. This is a little fucked
We're
up.
4 months in,
Can
bro.
we cut that? Because
It's
that's
honeymoon.
messed up.
It's honeymoon. I said.
It's always
No,
gonna be like that.
I've heard some of the FaceTimes and I'm like, oh my God, he's just so many compliments.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna
Really
ever
so
take for
much.
granted how lucky I am. I'll.
Oh my goodness.
She
Incredible.
said.
How do you
Everyone
all-
in my life has said to me, after they've met her, "Don't fuck this up." Every single person who have ever been judgmental of the people I've brought home, my brother-in-laws, the manager at the Comedy Cellar has literally judged every woman she's ever met or I've talked about.
Rightfully
Where she's
so.
like, "Oh yeah, oh she's a spin instructor. That's great. You know, this and that, like making fun of them and all this stuff." And they met them, like they would meet, like the people who've met the girls I've dated and been like, "Cool, man, yeah, have fun." you know. But there was
Sure.
never like, but with her, like the second she's gone, they're like, don't fuck this up, like for real. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm not going to. Not that I fuck it up. I'm not gonna fuck it up.
Okay.
Touch me.
It's okay, baby.
You're so beautiful.
Yeah.
How do you all show love though? So do you show it the same way that you want to receive it?
I feel like we do. We're big on physical touch.
Yeah, that's always been a thing.
Yeah, and we word vomit to each other every day.
We talk a lot. I think the communication. I don't know. What's the one for talking?
That would be word.
I mean, words of
or
affirmation.
quality time.
What
Is
are the other
quality time
ones?
on
There's the
there?
one for
There's
talking.
talking, touching,
Talking,
sucking,
touching.
fucking. Those are 4 of them. Licking,
Fucking
grab.
buying.
Sorry.
I hope your mom doesn't
Buying
listen.
shit.
She's gonna.
Hi, Pat.
No, don't make it real.
Don't like isolate it. Yeah.
Have you all had a fight yet? And if you do, how do you disagree?
I was gonna say I don't think so. What's your version? Oh, is it? Wait, what's the word? Wait, what
The closest we had was there was a day I was like depressed because I knew you were upset with me.
was it? Social media related?
Yeah, it was, which is like a thing that I was like, I would never want social media to become a problem.
Yeah.
But it was kind of gross.
You can. You can say however much or little you want.
Okay. I'm almost trying to word this so I don't look like an asshole. But
I love how vulnerable you are, Jeff, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
Very
it's great.
vulnerable.
And I love how accepting Katie is. I know. You guys are
Okay.
just...
Insult, compliment. I like how you're willing to talk about how you fucked up, and I like how she deals with that. Yeah. I followed thoughts on Instagram,
THOTS.
but I was single
Yeah.
for a long time.
So these were leftover follows.
Yes, but it was okay. So there was a spawning. There was a spawn of one in okay. So like let's just say somebody. Okay,
You say as much or as little as you want. I was okay.
I'll tell you the truth.
Oh.
If I've got like a follow by somebody like that has a lot of followers,
Sure.
and they may or if they message me or not or whatever, I'd be like, oh, they have a lot of followers. Like,
Yeah, there's
I'll
a
follow
mutual
them back.
Mutual
Or those
respect.
things.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Sure.
Fair.
boom.
Yeah, understood.
And I got it spawned. I think you already brought up the fact that you follow some like thoughts or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're like, they're not even like 100,000 followers. It's like 8,000 followers, and it's pictures of her ass on her Instagram.
Yeah, it's not, it
And I'm
wasn't. It wasn't about like the amount of followers necessarily, but it was just kind of like this account is like a OnlyFans gateway
Sure.
type account. Like,
Oh, really?
I wouldn't
checked.
know. Okay.
But there was one specifically that I had gotten. It was like not. It was like a few months ago, but it was like enough for you to justify being weird. Is that I didn't know. I just followed because it's not okay.
Spiraling.
Okay.
I love it.
Okay, so like I didn't know. She taught me this. Is that if you look at somebody's following, it's in order.
yes,
So you
it
can
is.
see what they're following.
The most
in
recent.
order. Yeah,
Yep.
bro.
Yeah, dude, you should know this.
I wasn't. There was nothing like I wasn't like messaging people and being
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I got caught talking to some girl saying she's
Yeah.
hot or some shit."
Right.
I just followed a girl back that was thotty,
Yes.
and it was in our relationship, and it wasn't meant to be like I can't wait to see her stuff pop up. It was like, hey, why not? Whatever.
Yeah.
And she questioned that. She goes, "Do you know this person?" And I was like, "No." And I
he,
didn't know.
He just kept going. Like he was just like, nope.
Yeah, I was
and
like,
then
no,
was,
anyways,
how was
blah,
your
blah,
day?
blah. And then she
Yeah.
was like, nah, what's going on with this? And I was like, what do you mean? Like, what are you talking about? She goes, you just recently followed them. And I was like, oh, fuck, yeah, I did. And I was like, I don't know what to say. Like, there's nothing of it. I was a little defensive where I was like, there's nothing coming from it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
And I didn't think there was.
Sure.
but it was the first time that I felt her disappointment and it hurt.
Yeah.
Where I was like, and truly I do defend the fact that I was like, there's nothing was coming
Sure.
of it, but I felt your vibe, and then that put me down a little bit, and I was like, well, like I was kind of like, well, whatever then, like whatever, and I hated how our conversation ended, and that was the day that I had just done a bunch of shows for my family the day before, and then that day I was at my sister's house, and we were doing a family photo shoot that day. And we were still talking. You were still communicative in the sense of like, oh, that's cute. Oh, this is a cute picture, this and that. But I remember thinking like, I think actions are more than words. And I didn't tell you, but I just went through my Instagram and unfollowed any girl that I didn't know personally. And you saw that later on and saw that as an act.
Yeah, yeah.
and that worked out great. But I didn't do it like, oh, I hope she notices this. I was like, you're right. Why am I doing this? And I just did it. I just unfollowed.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Well, here's the thing. I am.
I just follow him on Twitter now.
Here's the thing, though. I'm comfortable in our relationship. I'm comfortable in the trust I
Yeah.
have with him.
Yeah,
and
and jealousy was a question people were asking.
No,
You guys
I don't
get
have
jealous?
any personally. Do you?
No, I this is the most secure I've ever felt in a
Okay, good.
relationship.
I was like, wait, what?
No, I really,
Yeah.
I honestly, if you were like incommunicado for like 2 days straight,
Oh.
like if I would be more worried about your safety than I would be like, oh, she's probably out with some guy.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
never felt that. And
Yeah.
every relationship I've ever felt, I've had that in the back of my head. Like I've had that insecurity and a lot of it was for a reason and I was
Sure.
correct,
Yeah.
you know, in thinking that,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so, like with the whole like following thing, it's like, look, I get like guys tend to want to look at like porn, and that's a conversation between you and your partner, and like whatever. And so
Cool.
for
Some people guys do.
and it's
Never
like,
heard
What's
of
that word? I don't know.
but you know, and
I
that's
just look at pictures of you.
okay, baby, or the Furbo footage, you know.
Yeah, no, that is not good footage. You look great.
But the thing is, like, Instagram's such a public social setting that I'm
Yeah.
like, look, I get you want to do what you want to do, look at whatever. I don't want to know, you know? And so for me,
feel the same
the Instagram is kind of like more of a public way of me knowing, like, oh, there's a lot of like big titty blondies here, you know?
Yeah.
Or maybe they're not.
Dude, that was so funny today.
Generically, what?
When it was yesterday, when I was like, oh, I want to go see the movie Bike Riders.
Oh,
The
yeah.
biker movie.
I haven't
you
seen
know,
it yet.
justify my tattoos. Be
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah, yeah. I want to see my kind.
Yeah, like there's
My
rough and tumble.
brothers.
Let's go,
Yeah,
rough and
yeah,
tumble,
yeah.
guys. And I was like, let's go see that. And she goes, oh, Austin Butler, I'm sold. And I was like, okay. And then she was talking about, like, well, who's your celebrity crush? And I was like, what do you think it is? And she goes, I don't know, probably a blonde with big fake tits. And it was the way you said it. I was howling. I was laughing for like a good minute straight. You're like a blonde with big fake tits. And I was like,
No, but that's the extent of like that wasn't even like a fight. Like it was just a mature
Sure. Yeah.
conversation, and that's why when you asked the question initially, I'm like, we don't fight the way I picture what a fight is. We have
Right.
things that make us uncomfortable, and we talk about it, and we work through it, and then it's done. And that was maybe the biggest one, but like it's been pretty good so far.
and that's something we've talked about that I said that my sister and my brother-in-law have, where I've seen them argue.
Yeah.
Like, just be like, well, that's why I don't want to fucking do that, okay? And she's like, fine, whatever. And then, like, 10 minutes later, she'll, like, walk up behind me and be like, do you want a cookie? And I'm like, well, what happened? They're like, it's never the end.
Yeah.
Like, you argue about shit just because you're around each
Yeah,
other all the
and
time.
you're a human,
But
you're
your
gonna
relationship's
argue.
never on the line.
Yeah.
And that's why I've always had relationships that were that way. And I wasn't, I've been in very insecure relationships, like when I was in an open relationship or whatever it was, where I was like, every time there was an argument, I was like, is this it? Are you done with me now?
Sure.
Because I was
Yeah.
insecure and I knew... I felt like I was dating out of my league, or I was like, you know, that type of thing. And I know I am with you, but you
No,
never
you're
make me feel that
not.
way.
No.
That's very sweet.
We're perfect for each other.
What do you think,
baby.
Evan? Are you married out of your league or no?
Oh, hell yeah. So say more? Yeah.
Keep going.
Go ahead. Keep going. Okay. Favorite and least favorite thing about each other.
Oh, fuck, why are you going to do that?
Oh, I don't even know these answers. I'm scared.
Okay. Ooh.
Favorite
Favorite and least favorite thing.
Well, I definitely just like love his silly personality. Like it's very playful, very youthful. Sounds weird, but it's just it's very pure and
Sure.
innocent, and
Not jaded.
yeah, it's fun. Every
Yeah.
day's fun with him.
Aw.
Yeah,
And now you do the bad one.
Yeah, that was boring. Down to the bad one. Yeah.
he won't like this.
oh no.
Look at his
Why'd you do
face.
this?
This is good.
Sorry, Jeff.
This is what people
It's
actually
not.
want
It's not
here.
often, but some. Do you know?
You go. I hope it's this, otherwise I got
You
two
go.
things now.
Sometimes he snores.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. I can't help it. You know
Well, I
what I mean?
know.
Listen.
Like no, wait, what do you think I was gonna say?
That I don't pay attention sometimes.
Oh, but I just accept. Like that's the thing. That's what. Like I just accept it. It's like I don't hate it.
It does bum me out that I snore because it's out of my control a little bit.
and I accept that too. Like I know.
But it upsets me, and I don't want you to not tell me. I don't want you to lie to me. But there are mornings I wake up and I see her pillow over her head, and I'm like,
Oh,
no. But I can do things. I'll go to the
No.
doctor or something.
No, it's fine. Like
I'll get a surgery.
He always
Yeah,
feels-
I'll cut my nose off. I don't give a fuck.
he always feels so bad. So it's gotten to
Sure.
the point where I stopped telling him. You know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, did I snore? I'm like, no.
You're like, absolutely
He's
not.
like, you're lying. I was like, okay, maybe like a little bit. It's like a smidge.
Oh, okay.
Your
All right.
turn.
I know. Okay,
I'm
so there's.
It's a
No, okay,
preparation.
okay.
Uh-oh.
Oh fuck, shit. I'm trying to think.
It's like
'Cause
yours
there's
was
one.
snoring.
That's bad or good?
No,
Oh. This is the end, guys. You saw
I'm
it.
like, so sorry. It was the audience
It's like
question.
you care too much, you work too hard. It's just annoying.
Yeah.
oh shit. Okay, let me just think of.
Whoa, I'm
The
scared.
thing I love is like, God damn it.
What?
Sorry, it's a very pressury. It's to think of something negative is like now I'm like trying to reach for something. You know what I mean?
You don't have to.
Yeah.
I'm perfect. That's okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
She's perfect. It's fine.
I'm sorry. There's a lot of dead air.
She can edit it
No, it's really not a big deal.
to make it seem like you knew right away. Oh, he's
I
like, no,
know.
guys.
I really can't think of
Wow.
anything that makes me upset or like that. I'm like, oh, you do that. You know, my
Wow.
least favorite thing about you.
I've hit it well. Whatever it is, it's coming. Evan's just like, come on, bro.
No, I know. Like, you do yours, and I'll think.
We've already done ours.
Tell me.
This is
tell
our
me
podcast.
the
We've
thing-
already done ours.
Yeah, you talk shit, dude.
Yeah.
the thing you like about me the least, and then go.
Yeah. Unprompted.
Yeah.
I do.
Let me do
What I
this.
love about her is how selfless she really is, and I will catch myself being like, "Hey, can we stop talking about me and my career for a minute? Because you'll be so inquisitive and you'll push it even further, and you look out for me in a lot of ways that I'll have to like check and be like, hey, listen, I feel like this is too much about me right now. But then you always, you're like, no, it's what I want to talk about right now is you and all my stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then what I don't like
I'm so scared.
is that you don't like snoring, which I love snoring. I love snoring. I love snoring so much. It really is hard for me to think of something negative.
Beautiful.
Honestly,
You don't have
I'm
to
I
really
mean,
force
having
you
a
don't
hard
have
time.
to. You can get back to it.
I
You
mean,
can text us later.
Mine was even like a.
Yeah, yours was fake anyway,
Yeah.
so it
Yeah.
doesn't mean you guys both have
I
nothing.
was a cop out.
You can text us
Oh,
later.
it
We'll
makes me
insert it right
sleepy.
here.
It was like, I hate the way that he has his toothbrush in a certain way in the morning. It's like, it's a fake one. The snoring's a fake one.
Sometimes it leaves the seat up,
Right, exactly. This is
You
all
know?
fake
I've been
shit.
trying to get good about that.
and I never complained about it.
No. You. I think I mentioned it or whatever. You do you'll mention things that will bug you, and I'll be like, oh, okay, good. I'll get upset because I'm sensitive, and I'll be like if she said I'm gonna wait. Are you paying attention right now? Because I have to tell you this, and I'll be like, what is that? What do you mean? She's like, well, sometimes you're just out of it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, that is the nicest way to bring that up because that would be annoying. But I still go I'm not always like that. I still
Right,
get sensitive
I'm-
about
yeah,
it.
yeah, right,
but
right,
she's
right,
very
right.
good about handling. She knows how to handle me.
That's
She
good. I
really
think
know how
that's
to
important.
handle my sensitivity and my
Yeah.
ego really well.
Ego. I don't think you have an ego.
Thank you.
All right.
Beautiful.
I can't. If I think of something, I'll tell you.
Like
Tell
I said,
me
we'll,
first.
We'll do an episode catch up in a year, and we'll see if
we'll
something's
insert
developed.
it. We'll insert it here
Yeah, yeah.
later.
Well,
This bitch. I'll tell you. Sorry, I used that word. It's not
I'm
real.
so sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's
So
not real.
sorry. Okay. Most embarrassing moment that you
Oh.
have had in front of each other.
I know mine.
Ooh, is it the same? I know yours. I know yours.
Was it on a little escape? The island escape?
What?
What are you thinking? I'm thinking when we got that little Airbnb.
I'm like, what was he thinking about?
You didn't know?
Okay. All right.
Okay, I'll tell mine first. I'm not ashamed. It happened.
Say it.
Okay. Well, I remember the first. We've talked about this actually. You guys about farting in front of your significant other.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And so I had my first
Did a good
fart in front of him.
Accident.
First and second within minutes.
Okay, I didn't. I wasn't
She
gonna
was
go.
making popcorn.
Okay.
dude.
What the heck? No, you know what's even worse is he goes, I thought it was a queen.
Yeah, he did.
Which and
Because
so
we had just got done having sex. She stood up and it was like,
yeah.
I was like, oh,
how like here we're all post moment and
Yes,
just like
yes.
messy hair and then you're trying to be all sexy and stuff and then
Oh,
you're
no.
naked and then it just happened no warning. Like I didn't know it was coming. Like I didn't get to hide it or try to keep it. It just happened. And then it happened twice, and I was like, "Where?" I just like
honestly, she could have gotten away with it.
Yeah,
It's
I was
like it was
gonna
a
say, you
crack in
should've
the
lied.
board of the place we're staying. Because but this is her. She's walking. It was like, and she goes.
Because I was
If
like,
you
Like
just
that.
don't
She
even
even I was like,
acknowledge
yeah,
it.
yeah. If she would have moved on, I would have been like, must have been a floorboard.
Yeah.
You know?
yeah. So that's what comes to mind, I guess, right away.
What's an embarrassing thing of mine?
Wait, what did you
You
think?
kissed my bald spot today.
Oh, I did love that.
I cover up my hair. Like I push it forward and then I put some topic stuff on it.
Oh, I use Topics too.
Do you really?
Yeah. I
Nice.
have like balding spots right here,
Yeah.
and I use Topics.
Oh, mine's
it's
I
great.
got a fucking it's huge. And she had always been like, I want to see it. And then like I was like, there's no way
She's like, it turns. You're like, I'm kind of.
She said she's like, you don't have to put a hat on when you wake up. 'Cause
Like, I
put
want
a
him to
hat
be very
on.
comfortable. Like,
Yeah.
I want to really, like I said, embrace all his insecurities and show him,
Beautiful.
like,
And I was
Beautiful.
feeling good. And then that day I was like, I just got out of the shower and I'm like, do you want to see my bald spot? And it's big. It's like this big.
and I got to
then
rub
you
it.
kissed
And she rubbed it.
And kissed
and then she
it.
kissed it.
Whoa.
And I was like, I've literally never
Yeah.
ever shown it. They may have seen it. They might have peeked out.
But
if
you're
were-
always like, yeah.
In the morning, he
I
has
feel
a
you.
hat on usually.
Yeah.
He wouldn't shower with me. Like, it's a very private moment. And,
Sure,
and,
sure.
I understood it. Like, I knew why. It's a thing.
Because it's haunting.
Right.
It is scary looking.
No,
I remember I went swimming.
Scary looking.
Oh, it is.
Those kids are screaming.
No, because I put I have long hair in the back that I kind of push forward.
Okay.
And then I push the sides up like this
Right.
as I do my haircut, and then I put the topic, I spray it, and it stays shut. And I remember.
the portal.
Yeah.
The
If
insecure
you stare into
portal.
it too long, you will go blind.
Yeah.
And I remember one time I went swimming in the Chicago Lake, Lake Michigan in Chicago with my buddy Dave, and he's just one of the sweetest guys in the world. And we jumped into the lake, and I popped out, and all of my hair, this is back when I would do all to one side, like a straight up
Comb
comb
over.
over, and all the hair was like down the side. And I remember I popped out of water like this, and he looked at me, and he goes, "Whoa!" And I was like, "What?" And he goes, "That's scary looking." And that's how he talks. He kind of talks like Christopher Walken. He's like, "That's scary." And it was the first time. That's when I really started getting really insecure about it.
Yeah.
But I remember there was times like it happened before in the past. Like it was traumatizing where I was like dating somebody and I didn't spray it shut, and I was like on a roof party and I was like, oh, it's on the roof, and I didn't know that, and I had to bring a hat, and like I had kept holding my hair down because it would just like Donald Trump out into the wind.
Oh.
It would be like this.
gosh.
I remember. Yeah.
Have you
Yeah.
ever jumped into the water with your Topics on?
Yeah.
It's like a cloud.
Not with me, though.
Oh.
I haven't seen this
Oh
yet.
yeah, no. I've gone like this to like shampoo my hair, and then my it looks like if it was red, it'd be a murder scene in my shower.
Literally, I'll never forget. I had lost a bunch of hair, and it was like in the back too, and I had like my Topics all over, and we were like, in Palm Springs with like a bunch of friends, and they were kind of like friends that I felt a little insecure around, like kind of the cool kids, and I was like, oh god, and I jumped in the water, and all my Topics was like a black cloud around me, and I remember one of the girls was like, oh my god, what is that? Is that like, did someone pee in the pool? Is that one of those dye things that you see? And I was like, hiding my hair.
You're like, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
you fucking did that.
Because I powder it on. I throw it on thick. Oh yeah, she's brought it up to me before where like at my sister's house, you did it so nice and deli. She's so good about like handling me. And we were like in the bedroom, she goes, by the way, you're on your sister's couch, like you were leaning, we were playing games.
yeah, it rubbed
and there's like a
off.
big brown spot on the couch.
It's
And
like
I
a
just
white
wanted you to know
couch.
that. So I went out there to go clean it, and it was gone. So my sister saw it, cleaned it, and she didn't even tell me. Like that's so.
That's so
But
sweet.
we will make fun of each other so much that like there was times that like we're all hanging out. My mom was like having a drink, even if not. But like where they joked around about when I've stayed with them that there's like this like black dust around the whole because I put it on, then I spray it to keep it in.
Yeah.
But when you hit the initial spray, if I'm too close, it'll be like. And it will be like their whole counter. She's like, all of Giovanna's, my niece's like bath toys are like covered in this like
Yeah,
like
the-
all
like
because it
the-
was like out and
the
it's like
hair
there's like a
fiber
film
dust.
and it's all this dust and I'm like, well, it's not like toxic, you know?
You're like, it's fine.
Honestly, shout out to Topics to sponsor it.
Oh.
It's great. I love
wanted the
Topics.
surgery.
I mean,
I'm just gonna go for it. Well, I'm getting married. I'm gonna shave my head. I'm gonna go. Oh,
okay,
I'm
wait
gonna get
a
rose tattoo on my forehead,
second.
dude.
Wait a second. That leading into it, you're pointing saying get married. One of the other questions, a lot of people are like, what do you see this relationship like in 2 years? Like what?
What do I see it?
Oh, in 2 years?
In 2 years?
We'd probably be married, yeah?
Yeah. Well, married?
Whoa. How long is this engagement? I bet you would be engaged this year. Actually, well, maybe
Can I
not.
say it?
I was gonna say.
She knows what I'm going to propose
I'm like,
to
can I
you.
say
Jess
something?
knows the date.
So we
What?
were,
Or dates.
yeah, me and Instagram free Aunt Katie were at Katie Thurston's place, and we were like talking about, getting married, bachelorette party, and you were like, hey, you should just text Jeff and ask when he's gonna propose. And so I did. I said, hey, would you tell me when you're gonna propose? And he gave me a time.
Whoa.
So I now know.
She didn't tell me. I recorded her reaction, and then she showed Katie, and so they both know dates, ID. I
And
don't
I
know.
love that because I didn't think you were gonna actually
I
let
knew
me
he would
know,
tell
and
you.
I was like, oh,
Yeah.
and then now I know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now I
Let's
know.
just say she will not be. She will be a fiance by 2027.
Okay.
By 2035, something will have
just to see her
happened.
reaction.
Oh, he
just
loves
to
to
see,
just
like,
Poke the bear.
what was that? What was that?
Yeah.
So I know. Hold
So
the
she
secret.
knows- she
and
knows things.
None of
Mm-hmm.
you will ever know, and Katie will never know, because I keep a good secret.
She did. She wouldn't. And I didn't want to know.
I wouldn't have told you if I thought you would have
Yeah,
told her.
I don't
'cause
wanna-
that would be negative.
Yeah.
I just
Which,
leak
by
it
the way,
right
I do
away.
want to ask you a couple questions.
Oh, great. Because then I can pee and you guys can talk.
Yeah, we can do
Oh,
that.
yeah, and keep rolling.
Oh.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
Ooh,
Yeah.
no. Wait, what?
Yeah, wait, that's kind of fun. Okay, so we're gonna do that. So family, you guys, thank you so much
Yes,
for
thanks,
coming.
guys.
Are you kidding me? Like both of you.
So fun.
Obviously, Katie, you know that you are family,
Of
and
course.
we adore you, and you are our everything, and we just
Wow.
treasure you. And Jeff, we love you.
Okay, say more.
Tattoos,
We love your tattoo.
unbelievable.
No, but we're just so happy. We told this the second that we met you. You know, we were like, oh my god, like
Yeah.
you're just
I had
a
fun
really.
hanging out with you guys, too.
We
It
had
was
so
just a
much
great time.
fun,
Yeah.
and we were just like, you're a really special person, and seeing like everything that she's like said about you, and then after meeting you, and we're like, okay, like it just makes us so
Yes,
happy.
100%.
Cool.
100%.
So plug away.
Oh.
Just we're the end of the podcast,
Yeah,
so you
yeah.
gotta plug.
I mean,
What-
you can find me at the Katie Thurston on
Mm-hmm.
Instagram and see what's happening next. Actually, I just updated my profile bio. It says new side quest loading.
Yes.
Because I'm always doing something different, whether it's
You
like
got-
a poker tournament, comedy, reality TV.
Yeah, you always have something.
Amazing.
Just
cooking.
going with the flow of
Yeah, but you're
life.
you're one of the most lovable people I've ever met in my entire life.
Aw.
Like whatever you're gonna do, you're gonna be fine. Like
Yeah.
everyone loves you.
Thank you, baby.
It's
You're
so
welcome.
true. Yeah.
I mean it.
Oh. And check out Jeff's tickets.
Yeah, it's jeffstickets.com.
I was about to say, it sounds like a thing. Check out Jeff's tickets.
Check out my tickets. The show sucks, but the tickets are pretty cool.
Yeah, check them out. They're really nice tickets.
JeffArcuri.com. I think that's the website, and then it's all. I'll be announcing my the world tour probably in the next couple months,
Incredible.
Yes.
Epic.
and she'll be there.
Yes.
People hit her up and are like, "You're gonna be at this show?" And I told her, I brought her out on stage at the Wilbur, which we have photos of that.
That's
But we
fun.
have footage of it too that I'm getting hopefully soon.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
From my
that's
video
so
guy.
That's
fun.
super cool.
Yeah.
That was the
I
reveal, right?
pretended to propose to her.
Yeah. I know.
And I was like,
Wait a
"Sorry."
second. That was the reveal because I remember
Yeah.
seeing, people were posting on
Yeah,
Reddit
we did a
saying like,
pre-reveal at his show.
Yeah.
And then like within like a week after
Yeah.
I hard launched.
but people were on Reddit like that night being like, oh my god, I was just at Jeff's show and he brought
Oh.
Katie Thurston out and he proposed.
And
He
people
proposed.
who know
Yeah.
both of
That's
us were like,
pretty funny.
amazing.
people
That's
gasped.
funny.
The amount of DMs that both him and I got along the lines of like, that wasn't on my bingo card this
Right,
year,
right.
you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
People-
awesome.
people-
2024.
Were shocked, but then they're like, but it makes
Yeah, it
sense,
makes
and they love it.
My dad was freaking out because in Michigan, when I said I have a girlfriend, I talk about it because I talk about her on stage a lot now.
Yeah.
And just to avoid all those DMs, I was getting too many DMs. But I brought it up. My dad was like, they knew who she was because I was on stage. Like, I have a girlfriend now, and they're like, we love Katie.
Oh, yeah.
I want to say 2/3 of the time when I bring up that I have a girlfriend, people yell out her name.
That's
Oh, wow.
so
It's
fun.
cool. It's nice. And I talk about how she's somebody and I'm not. Like, I'm
oh,
like,
stop it.
like the Us Weekly photo, I have a joke about that where there was like a photo they put up like the Bachelorette Katie Thurston dating comedian Jeff. And it's like
Katie Thurston
it's-
and boyfriend.
and it's a
Yeah,
picture
yeah,
of
yeah.
her on a red carpet and a picture of me on a live show, just like looking like out in the audience, like.
yeah. Love
And then
that.
it was all and then like people were commenting like throw up emojis at my picture.
Oh
and
my
saying-
God.
And then so I went
No.
to their profile on a burner account and like commented the throw up emojis on their kids' photos.
Your
Other kids'
kid.
photo, like gross kid, bro.
Oh my god.
That's not true. But I did do it on their photos, but not their kids' photos.
Yeah, it's like burner account, but it said dash Jeff. Yeah.
It always surprises me when someone's cunty on the internet and doesn't have a private profile. I'm like, you're just gonna show
It is
me your
pretty- it's
family?
pretty intense.
Ballsy.
It's
just
pretty
you, your 3
wild.
kids, and
Yeah.
just berating
Yeah.
You're
someone.
gonna show a picture of you at your job?
Yeah, I'm like, I respect a Finsta. I'm like, I don't want to know who's
Yeah.
hating on me. Like,
Yeah.
keep it
But I will
private.
say, I kind of love the just like go all out
Yeah, I
with your
guess.
identity. I'm like, at least we know who you are.
I guess
Yeah,
you're-
that's hardcore.
I guess you're just being you.
Yeah.
Just a horrible person through and through. Beautiful.
All right, well, family, we love you.
Love ya.
We love you both, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.